too.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Oh, technical difficulties,
always technical difficulties.
man. We just haven't. Can we have a show without it?
Right?
That's that'd be the best. That'd be the best show ever if we just
Very,
had a show without
it's very
technical
frustrating.
difficulties.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you shed a little light, fantastic with me. All right. The post for us being live is up.
Were we going to
Awesome.
do a different thing? Because I just got kicked off Skype. Were we going to do the other program?
No.
No, we have to all get on like sometime during this week and experiment with it.
Okay.
Only because it's relatively easy, but I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Oh, Skype is being such a pain in the boot.
Yeah.
Ugh. Hey, Sansa. Come here. Come here, Sansa. Come here. Come on.
All right, so the post should be shared on my
Okay.
Facebook page on Teener T, and I'm about to share it on BTIT. And we have one live viewer. I don't know who it is yet. Share in a group. Group name. Kayleen, yeah. I think you're the first one here. And
What's
she's
up?
gone.
Welcome.
And she's gone. Just like that. Unless
I
we dropped
mean-
offline. No, I think she's gone. Shit.
It'll be okay. More people will log in.
Yeah, I just like to, like, hey, and then they're gone. It's like, oh, crap, they probably just got, bad internet connection or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, there she is.
Welcome. Where?
She's the first one here. Wish I had prizes to give away. I'd give her a prize.
Right? We should come up with some prizes.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
You get to spend
We're
the day
getting
with
all set
John.
up.
Ice and FireCon. And here's a bag of potatoes.
You could be my squire for
And
the
you throw the
joust.
potatoes at him whenever he starts talking about Starks.
You
28
You could be my
days.
squire.
You can be the
You can
squire.
be
The squire.
It makes fun, but it hurts.
Right. It's funny. Let's see. All right, Julie, what are you doing? Guys. Yeah, interesting. My cousin's now a woodcarver.
Hmm.
I really want to watch Star Trek Discovery. It just sucks that I have to have CBS streaming. Oh, no, I don't. I can pirate it.
It's not bad. I watched it.
Like, what are these people thinking? If you don't make it easy to get to, we're going to watch it
Yeah.
illegally, and you're
Yeah.
not going to get credit for it.
Where's Julie?
So,
Yeah.
what the heck?
They need to. I don't know. It's crazy.
Wait, this is the wrong episode. Why does it say season
YouTube has
20
the right idea.
episode 202?
It should be fixed. The one I'm looking at live says episode 203, preparing for season 8, part 2.
Okay.
It's for some reason YouTube has a problem. Every time I try to update the live thing, it changes the past one I did.
Yeah.
So I have to go back and
So-
change that.
Hmm.
It's not
Are we-
fixed. It's not fixed, is it?
Hang on. I was reloading it to see. It has a picture. So it does say episode 203 preparing for season 8 part 2. However, the picture
Yeah.
is last week's picture because you're wearing a different shirt, I'm
Uh.
wearing different clothes in the picture that's posted.
It'll work.
It'll work.
When you
right.
trip a little light fantastic with me. All right, we'll do. Of course, my house heater kicks on right when I want to do sound check. You got to be kidding me with this shite.
Oh, you can check our sound.
Oh, good. Kayleen.
Know.
Kayleen said that YouTube notified her with the correct title. Awesome.
Oh, sweet. Thank you, Kaylee.
Kayleen, are you going to Ice and Fire Con? Please say yes.
I will buy you a drink if you are.
And you can have John's autograph.
And you can be one of my squires.
You can come and join the orgy party free of charge.
It's not going to be an orgy party.
Okay, it's really a toga party.
Chris wants it really. He wants the orgy really bad.
He's on
Chris
his own.
wants this orgy really bad. He I don't know. He wants it really bad. He's on his own. It's gonna be a one-man orgy, first time ever.
Okay, I did not get the update that we were
We're live.
That's really weird. I normally do.
Oh no, she's not going.
No.
Well, if you were going to go, I was going to say anyone that goes on the dance club night, I was going to dance with any of our audience, any of our fans.
Aww.
I like dancing, so it wins for everybody.
Why did I not get the stinking thing?
You're ready for that, Kayleen. You're ready. You're ready to party with the B-tit.
So I think we're just waiting for
Julie
to get back, and then we're doing our sound check, and then we're gonna start this party.
Pardon me for just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Something has just happened.
So I'm gonna let people know in the meantime what we're talking about tonight, as soon as I can get into the notes. My mouse is freaking.
I will let you know right now because I'll be faster.
No, you won't. Damn it.
It's Euron Greyjoy.
Is that first?
The first one will be
Oh shoot.
your Sir Davos, Euron Greyjoy, and the Hound, and Jamie if we have time.
Davos was.
Is first. Sir Davos is first. Euron Greyjoy, the Hound, Jamie Lannister. Those are 4.
Okay.
I don't think
we're gonna do 5.
That's Jon Snow, and I'm telling you right now, the 5th Jon Snow.
We'll just end on Jon Snow.
No, you don't even want to do Jon Snow because I think that's gonna be like a long. Jon Snow's we save Jon Snow because that's gonna be a long conversation.
Oh goodness, what was that?
Was what?
That noise. Was that Chris?
All right.
Yeah, it was Chris. All right, so we're talking about Davos first. And then Euron Greyjoy, and then the Hound, and then Jamie Lannister, and John says that we don't have time for Jon Snow.
I don't think we'll have time for Jon Snow.
Well, I see here Kayleen loves us all.
We love you too, Kaylee.
Okay, cool. I gotta remember. What are we doing again? We're doing a podcast, right?
Yeah, we are.
Forgot about that. I forgot what we were doing. For some reason, I was like, "We're doing Nerd Theater." Oh, you missed an epic episode last night, Trin.
Oh.
It was definitely epic.
That's cool.
Can't even tell you how many times we went off the rails.
I'm sorry that I
No,
wasn't
it's okay.
able to go. So the thing that came up was husband has been working from like 6 in the morning until 8 to somewhere between 8 and 10 at night every night, Monday through Saturday. And yesterday was like the only night I was going to get to hang out with him. So I was like,
Yeah, that's tricky. No, that's fine.
I needed the one night to hang out with my husband.
Well, having one more person on the show would have made it much more longer than the 2.5-hour show we did.
Oh, well, then you didn't need me.
Yeah, and John and I went at it. We had a small battle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Not
Superman versus Batman. You guys are like sporting it today, too.
Yeah. I was going to wear my Superman shirt, but I figured, you know what? I'm not going to stir that up again. I love both characters. It's just Superman is a little bit more, I like him better, slightly.
Well, I specifically wore a green shirt and a game of, and it's the Valar Morghulis shirt.
Awesome.
This is the only green. I like Batman better. I like Batman more than I like Superman. I like Batman. I like Batman more. It's
okay. This is not a Batman versus
I know.
Superman podcast.
We got that. we already know, John. You have your head so far up of Stark and Bruce Wayne's ass.
Here we go.
It's not wrong. It's not wrong.
It is wrong. It is wrong.
I bet you could never guess who my third favorite superhero is. You'd never guess. Not in a million years.
Your third favorite?
Third favorite.
Yeah,
Is it
I'm not
DC
gonna
or
guess
Marvel?
your third favorite.
Marvel.
No.
Iron Man.
For people who are just
Nope.
tuning in, this really is a Game of Thrones podcast.
It is, yeah.
Wolverine?
We haven't gotten to that.
Iron
part
Man's
yet.
like my fourth.
Wolverine.
No, Silver Surfer.
That's not bad. I
He's
like
cool.
Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Cosmic powers. Okay.
The cartoon was good.
Oh, it was good. I wish they'd bring it back. Let's see. Anyone live wants to say hello? Now's the time to do it.
Yeah, shout out.
We have some people here live, so join in the conversation. This is a pre-show. We're about to start in just a minute. All right, let me do the microphone checks. Check. John.
Check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
You definitely sound better than you did last night. You fixed your microphone, I see.
Yes.
This is a good thing. When you shed a little light, fantastic with me.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Okay, why is it so quiet? Why was it so quiet? I have to jack that up later.
Warning, this podcast contains explicit...
Okay. Trin, a mic check, please.
Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Sibilance. Sibilance.
Nice.
Yeah.
You sound awesome. You always sound awesome.
Thanks.
Julianne,
What's up?
I need a mic check, please.
Mic check. 1, 2, check.
Okay. All right, I think we're good. Now, let's see here. It's funny. My wife texted me and said, the toilet is running. And I said, you better go catch it.
Oh, no, you did not.
I did. And then she gave me a dirty look. She came down and gave me this dirty look. That's why I had to go and fix it real quick. I'm like, okay, I better do my duty to be a good husband.
Yep.
Okay.
Why is this the couch for you?
That's okay. I have my own bedroom, so. I used to sleep on the couch for 10 years.
Oh.
I'm a snorer.
I slept on the couch for a few months.
Okay. Yeah, but when your mom throws you out of your room to sleep on the couch, that's bad, John.
Well,
Did you share to Club Beat It?
I did.
Okay.
Yep, it should be there. Alrighty then.
Which episode?
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win
203.
or you die.
Warning, this podcast contains explicit language and spoilers. This is Behind the Iron Throne, your unofficial Game of Thrones podcast.
Okay, right there. We'll go from there. Okay, here we go. In 3. Nope, not doing it yet. Hold on. Hey, Big E! Just in time. Perfect timing, actually.
So, I'm sorry, I have the notes for 201. I don't have for
Oh.
203.
203.
Are you not getting these notes? I don't get
I
that.
don't know. I have 201.
If you accepted me as a friend on Facebook, I would send them to you.
Oh, you said. Listen, honey, I don't even go on Facebook. It's such a toxic place. It's so toxic.
It's true. It's true sometimes.
I know.
It says it. It's shared to...
I see it in the drive.
All right.
Sorry, guys. This is some
It's in
behind
the
the scenes
drive,
stuff.
right? Let me see if
Yep.
I can go into the
The
drive.
show notes. It says episode 203.
Did you read the comment? Wait, we're gonna read that during the show. That
Okay.
that gets read during the show. That's good.
Oh.
Sorry,
Ow.
last minute issue here. You're MIDI, right,
Ollie?
kid?
Yeah, that's me.
The drowned god demands a sacrifice in green beer tonight. I
All
like
right.
it. We're going. Yeah.
It
like
should be sent now, Julie.
So Ollie, our giant Kool-Aid mascot is John.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
let
know
me
why I'm a
copy the
mascot.
clipboard.
There we go. I have it now.
Okay, you got it. Okay, good.
Yep.
Good. Remind me before we're done
Ariel.
to grant access to the entire show notes section. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have the original folder. I don't know why it's not sharing me the new folder.
Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Well, hello, welcome back to Behind the Iron Throne. This is episode 203, where we're preparing for season 8. This is our second part. We have so many characters to go over. It's March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you, our amazing community, and to my co-hosts. Let's talk about the co-hosts because we got a great panel as usual. We have the lovely and talented who looks like a pixie elf from a leprechaun world who can speak and whisper to dragons as she rides them with a Gatling gun attached to her back. She has swords. She has knives. She's amazing. She's a secret agent. Oh, that was the secret. I'm sorry. I messed that up. Welcome to the show, Trin.
Hi, thank you so much. I almost didn't make it. My Skype was being weird on me. And happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Yay!
Yay!
I love it. I love
Start
it.
drinking if you haven't already.
Green beer and all that stuff. Corned beef and cabbage, whatever.
Blah. Sorry,
Irish
I can't
potatoes.
drink the cabbage. I just can't do it. Just can't do it. Next up, we have my lovely and talented sister, Julie Gray from the Hockey Hour podcast, and she's been on many different podcasts here at Total Nerd Takeover Studios. What's up, kid?
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me back.
And of course, last but not least, he is the King Dingaling. He is the Lord of the Wicker People. He is Jonathan Stoma Starklover Duckdarian of Winterfell. What's up, pal?
What's up, everyone? I'm so glad to be here tonight. Let's do this.
Now, we just podcasted last night, just so everyone knows, John and Julie and myself, we did a nerd theater podcast where we break down nerd-related movies, and it's very easy to get to. Just look up Nerd Theater or T, and it will pop up. We reviewed Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. That was a lot of fun, a lot of arguments, and a lot of tears were shed. So if you want to check out some awesome podcasts that we do other than this one, please check it out. Let's take a look in our live chat and see what we have here. I want to say a big shout out to Kayleen. She was the first one was here. Big hugs. It's awesome. We have Big E. Woohoo! We have Ollie. We have McKenna. Who else is in here? I don't see anybody else commenting. So that's all the shout outs for now. If you're joining us live, and they're all wishing us happy St. Patrick's Day. That's awesome, you guys. We have a great community. Now, if you ever want to join the podcast live, all you have to do is go to behindtheironthrone.tv, subscribe and like the channel, and you'll get a notification when we go live. If you can't, well, you can always get the podcast in your normal way, on iTunes or Google or Stitcher or wherever it is you want to get it from. We are literally everywhere, but we definitely like having you live because we want to bring in the community into our show. And we're working on a way to have people be able to actually be a part of the show where you could actually join our conversation for a small amount of time. And we'll be talking about that really, really soon. We mentioned it on the last episode, but we're going to get into that more soon because it's all about the community for us. It's a big part of what we do here. And boy, oh boy, do we have the best community. And of course, join our Facebook page, facebook.com/Behind the Iron Throne, and BTIT. Links will be in the description. That's our club, BTIT. You can be a BTITian and have a lot of fun in there with us as well. All right, we have a lot of stuff to talk about, so we're going to hammer away. On the last episode, 2 episodes ago, in part 1 of this, we went over Arya, Bran, Brienne, Cersei, and Dany. In this episode, we're going to see how far we get, but let's start with Sir Davos. What's going on with Sir Davos, what we think is going to happen with Sir Davos, and, just anything we want to talk about Sir Davos. So I'm going to let...
I want to point out
Oh,
really quick.
Go ahead.
Sir Davos is played by Liam Cunningham in the show, and Liam Cunningham was born in Dublin, so he's Irish. Just
That
to
works
start our
perfect.
Show off.
And
To start-
he is like, isn't he the potato guy?
Onion. He's the Onion
Onion,
Knight.
damn
Yeah,
it.
the Onion Knight. It would have been
Sure,
better
Irish
if he
people
was the
have
Potato
onions,
Knight,
right?
right?
Yeah, I just thought that was like very
Ding
fitting
ding.
that he was our first character, and he's played by an Irish actor. So
One of my favorite characters, honestly.
yes, yes,
Same.
mine as well. He has appeared in. Let's see. He was not in the first book, Game of Thrones, but or the first season of Game of Thrones, but he appeared in, well, basically from season 2 on, and then book 2, A Clash of Kings, all the way through the end of the books. So he was not one of the original characters, but he is definitely a solid character. I wouldn't call him a main character. What do you guys think?
No, definitely not. But I
Kind
think
of a-
you're right.
Side character, supporting character.
Very
much a
important,
supporting
though.
character. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very, important.
much so.
He's lived a long time.
Yes.
And I think he actually says something about living a long time. Like one of his quotes are like, "Oh God, how did he say that? Like that he's an old man because he was kind of like a chicken, like
Oh, yeah, because he's kind of like a coward, knew when to run, and
yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he runs.
he's
or-
smart. Davos is
he's-
smart. He's smart, and he has an untapped potential that he's just tapped into recently. I mean, going from a simple smuggler, I mean, he probably had those skills then. He's good at talking to people, and I bet you he'd be an amazing salesman, like the character. I love that fact that he had to help John when he was trying to build that army to go against Ramsay. He would never have gotten the Mormont girl's help without, Davos standing in there and saying, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, and he's done that for he's done that for what's his name too, for Stannis.
He's a great advisor.
Yeah.
He was a great advisor for Stannis. He's a great advisor for John. It's because of his poor upbringing, going from being poor to pirate to being a knight and being hand to the king for Stannis, and now being, I think he's John's principal advisor. He's helped John a lot. I think he's gonna survive, to be honest, because I think he's just one of those guys. He's a survivor. He's gonna survive. Him and John are a lot alike, because I think John also he's a bastard, so he's never supposed to be in this position, and it makes, I think when you're not put in that position, you become a better leader when you're not like born into it.
I agree with you there. He does the right thing because it's the right thing to do. He has good morals and good principles. He's one of my favorite characters, and I'm glad he
And he-
didn't die at the Battle of the Blackwater.
Yeah.
That's interesting because that you brought up the Blackwater. We've never seen Davos fight. He's not a fighter. He says that constantly, like, I don't fight. I just smuggle or sail. And he's a great sailor. And I think that was the only time that we saw Davos even come close to having to fight in a battle.
Do you
Well,
remember?
he rushed in the Battle of Bastards. He was in the
But we
big
didn't
crowd
see
with John.
him. But we didn't
No,
really
but
see him
I'm
do
saying
anything.
That's closest than than the Blackwater, because he went right in there, like he was in there.
But
He
you know
was
what?
Charging, like
He does say
I think
something.
he was. Yeah, go ahead.
When John is about to be resurrected and Alistair Thorne was getting ready to break through, and he takes out the sword and he goes, "Forgive me for what you're about to see. I'm not a sword fighter."
Yes.
That was good. I like that character.
Well, and then when they did the Suicide Squad up beyond the wall to go capture that. By the way, this is a very spoilery podcast for anybody who hasn't figured it out already. But they did that Suicide Squad run up there, and he's like, "I'll be a liability. Don't take me." And Tormund Giantsbane looks at him and goes, "Yeah, you would."
he's
Now-
also
not a
not
fighter.
he's also not afraid to speak his mind, and I think that's great, because most people are like, will hold their tongue. He'll tell Stannis whatever he wants. He'll tell John. He'll just speak his mind, and I think that's great.
All right, real quick, I'm going to read some of these comments because they got away from me. Big E, the drowned god demands a sacrifice in green beer tonight. Yes, indeed. Ollie says, I like the dramatic intro music. It feels like something really epic is going to happen, like a giant Kool-Aid mascot, John Somos, is about to crash through the wall. So we're going to dress John up in like a wicker suit, and we're going to have him break through an ice wall.
Ooh.
He could be our mascot.
Yes.
McKenna says, Happy St. Patrick's Day. Ollie says, Happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well. Beers and high fives and shamrocks. That's awesome. Ollie says, I don't like the sound of my voice, referring to when we were talking about getting people in the podcast. I'll stick to text communication. I permanently sound like I breathe in an atmosphere composed only of helium. Well, you know what's funny, Ollie? That's the way I feel like I sound. And when I first started podcasting, I was scared to death what people were going to think of my voice. And now, after loads of hate mail, I don't care anymore. And not to mention that in this new program, it will still be on YouTube Live. So that will not change. It'll still be YouTube Live. It just will give you an ability to get in with us. And there is text there as well. So we're still going to be on YouTube Live. We're going to use this other thing as well. And they all have text, or you can pop in to a seat in the group for a small amount of time. So don't worry about not being able to communicate with us. You'll still be able to. McKenna Jones asks, what's everyone's take on the Night King's new eyes? And we'll talk about that a little bit later.
We actually talked about that on our last episode when we went
Oh,
over the
that's true.
trailer. So if you want to hear our take on it, we did talk about it. Just go back to episode 202, I think, was the trailer breakdown.
And we may talk about it again when we get to Night King. It's on this list.
Oh yeah, it is. He is on the list.
So we'll probably bring that up again as well.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Moving right along. Ollie says, Sir Davos is a class act all the way. A man of principle and high honor. I think we all agree. Kayleen says, I enjoy Davos for sure. Not only good talking to people, but he stands by his principles regardless of the consequences to himself. That's important because that's character. That's real character.
Selfless.
Yeah. Kayleen says, I don't see Davos dying. I don't know. You know, in Game of Thrones, who knows?
He survived the wildfire, she said.
That's true.
I mean, he's survived quite a bit.
Yeah, he's definitely like a bad penny, keeps turning up, but in a good way because we love him.
Yeah, but the frozen zombies are coming. I don't think a lot of people are going to survive this.
Yeah, that could be tricky. Let's see. McKenna says, Davos is the real moral compass of the show and knows what to do in order to survive in the Planetos universe. I absolutely agree with you there. Kayleen says, and Melisandre when she was burning men left and right. That's true. And Ollie says, I heard the sound of my own voice on the intercom at work when I used the paper. After hearing that, I nearly moved. I nearly moved to a cave in Russia. Notice how I didn't say a cave in Canada.
Ollie, I probably wouldn't say go to Russia because, just because.
It's very cold.
Try,
I have a cave.
Iceland.
Iceland's beautiful. Reykjavik is gorgeous. As is Greenland.
I've never been, but I really want to go.
I would say you could go there and maybe see some episodes of them filming Game of Thrones, but that ship sailed.
So, real quick, Davos, you guys think he lives or dies?
Lives.
I think he dies.
I don't think he's going to fight anything. I think he's merely there for support, and they need a lot of support. So I think he's going to make it at least into the last 2 episodes. Maybe if he dies, it'll be within the last 2 episodes.
I think it'll be interesting to see Davos and Tyrion advising the new power couple. Because I believe that they're going to be ruling together. Especially after seeing the pictures of them walking together and stuff from the trailer. So we're going to have lots of advisory. Okay, let's go on to one of my favorite lunatics. Euron Greyjoy. And for some reason, I always want to say his name is Euron. I just want to. I don't care about the hate mail anymore. I want to say Euron. So good old Euron Greyjoy. John, what do you think's going on with Euron Greyjoy? You go.
This is interesting because he's tied for some reason to the Golden Company, and I don't know what the Golden Company is going to do this season. I think he dies. I think it's going to involve something with Theon and Yura. I still think Theon's going to challenge him to a duel, and Theon will find some way to kill him, and then and then get Yara, or maybe Yara kills him somehow. But I think he's not making it. He's dying.
Joey, what do you think is going to happen to Euron?
I don't know, because we did have a pretty in-depth, conversation about where we think Euron comes in season in the last season here, just by what we were watching with the trailer. I believe he, obviously he does bring the Golden Company, because we see them in the trailer. What transpires after that is going to be the real question. I mean, he was sent to get the Golden Company by Cersei. That was the bargain. That was the agreement. And that she would pledge that she would, marry him. And I don't think, and I think Trent and I both agree, we don't think that she and him are going to get married. I think there's going to be something that happens. It could be that there's a battle on on his ship. I think I don't know. This one's a hard one, because we don't really know a whole lot about Euron Greyjoy, because we only got to see him very briefly, and then all of a sudden it goes into the more in-depth part of his character when he's battling it out and trying to take control of House Greyjoy and all that stuff. And now he's got Yara, and you got Theon, who's going to go get her, and there's definitely going to be something that goes on his ship, whether it's now. I think this is how I feel. I think Theon gets on the ship. Somehow he gets on the ship. He lets Yara out, but I feel like there's going to be this battle. Theon's going to get killed by Euron, and I think Yara and him are going to have a battle, because who wouldn't want to see Yara just fucking go ham on Euron? And I think, I don't know, I think they probably both die like together at like the same time, like to the sea. You know what I mean? Like, I just have a feeling like that's going to be what happens with them. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch.
I can see. So this just came to me. I could see him marrying Cersei, and then Cersei killing him, right, like in the chambers, because Cersei will be like, "You really thought I was gonna marry you? You really think I trust you?" She kills him, takes control of the fleet and something like that. I could see something Cersei doing that, like Cersei's smart in that way. Like I could see her like just luring Greyjoy in the bedroom and then boom, killing him and Greyjoy. So I could see something like that happening.
John,
Like,
you're
he's gonna
really
go out, like
really
something like
breaking
that.
up there, buddy.
Sorry.
That's okay. This is Canada. I think that Euron is going to whoop Theon and Yara. I think that they're the ones that are going to go kaput earlier. I think that Euron's going to outlive them. But I think that either Euron is going to be taken by the undead when the Whites break through Winterfell, or something along those lines. Because I think that Euron is going to survive to a point, but he's not going to make it to the whole thing, I don't think. But he's crazy, and he seems to be. I mean, I think there was an article somewhere that he's supposed to be like more vicious than Ramsay was. I don't think that they're going to just use him up without actually showing that, because we haven't seen just how vicious he can be. I mean, we've seen some of it, but there's a lot. The way they described it in the article, we haven't seen this guy yet. We're only getting like a little hint.
Yeah, the books
crazy
do a lot more justice to his chaos and crazy and unpredictable, and he's super wild. He's Crow's Eye. He cut the tongues out of every single person on his ship because he wanted silence, and he named his ship Silence. And so he's pretty insane, and he's got a really insane reputation. I think, for the rest of the show, we already saw in a clip in the trailer what we think was Euron standing with Harry Strickland in front of Cersei at the throne. So he does go back and make it. I think he makes it to at least back to Cersei. I don't think that Theon will interfere with the whole bringing the Golden Company over. So if Theon is going to rescue Yara, it'll be after they're already in King's Landing. But I don't know what they're going to do with Euron's story arc, because I feel like we only have like they only included it in the show because it has something to do with Theon. And I know this isn't our time for talking about Theon. We have that, he's later in the list, but Theon has come through so much that I really wonder what his story arc is. Like, why did they take him all this way?
I have a prediction on that.
But we'll talk about that when we get to Theon. But Euron, the only reason I think he's in the show is because of Theon's arc. So whenever that comes up, I don't know. Yeah.
Did anyone hear what I said, or was I just breaking up?
It
earlier?
sounded like
So
You talked about Cersei.
I said Cersei killing Euron in the wedding night in the chambers.
Ooh.
So here's what I'm thinking, right? So she marries him. They're in the bed, and then she's like, stabs him, and then while he's alive, I'm like, did you really think I was gonna trust you? Really think I was gonna marry you? You don't think you're gonna betray me? And then kills him, gets control of the Iron Fleet.
I think he's a little more vicious than that, and I think that he might forcefully take her in the wedding bed.
Except
then she
for
kills
when the
him.
mountain's there. If the mountain's alive at this,
I think that might be a stipulation that he's like, that guy's not coming in our wedding bed.
she'll never do that.
That's weird.
She would never do that.
I
With
think-
everything that Cersei's been through, she would never. No, she
Yeah.
would never let anybody have power over her again. She is just fucked up.
Mm.
Like, I think what a way to kill a guy like him would be just to die in the bedroom, kind of like the way Roose Bolton just got killed, like the way he died. Like, you expected
Yeah, he expected something
a
better.
different death from Roose, but
Yeah.
for Ramsay just to kill him like that, I think something like that you could see from Euron just being killed in the bed or something. Like Cersei's on top of him and then she just stabs him or something like that.
I feel like they would give that to Yara.
Like, something
Yeah,
like that.
I don't think Cersei, and I'm gonna kind of like play devil's advocate here, even though I absolutely can't stand Cersei. But think about it like this, right? Cersei never actually kills anybody.
Mm-mm.
She's never like she has blood on her hands, but she's never actually killed anyone.
Right.
So to have her go to that leap of never killing somebody, and then because everybody's done her bidding for her, she's
Mhm.
good manipulator and you do this for me, and then I'll do this for you type of person.
If she wanted him dead, I feel like it would be super easy for her to have Jamie do it, because Jamie already
it would have already happened, and I just don't think that Cersei will make that leap to never having actually killed somebody to now, okay, I'm gonna kill him. I think she's gonna find a way to manipulate him. But remember, we have only 8 episodes. That's 6. We have 6 episodes. There's no way they're gonna be able to squeeze all that into 6. So I think it's gonna happen early. Whatever Euron's fate is, it's gonna happen early because they're not gonna have time for this huge story arc between Euron and Cersei.
Killing Euron would be easy. When he comes back with the Golden Company and Cersei's like, okay, I'm going to reward you. Great work, pat on the back. Okay, let's go get naked. We're going to go get our friggin' on. And
I don't think she'd say that.
Well, whatever.
No, I don't even
Obviously.
think they'll get to that point. I honestly don't think she would ever.
So she comes into the bedroom, and then, he goes in there, and, he's already, naked. He's ready to go. He's ready to put his finger up her butthole. And here comes...
He did say he wanted to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't just, pull it out of my
I
ass.
just don't know
Haha, get it? Out of my ass.
That's the part we pick out.
Hold on, I'm not done yet. So then she comes out there, and she's in a skimpy robe, and then all of a sudden she turns, and here comes the mountain out of the shadows with those eyes and that Darth Vader samurai look, and then just smashes his head in. Done.
Mhm.
Euron story arc, over. Done.
She used poison too, right? So
I don't think that's what's going to happen, but there's a lot of comments. I want to get to these comments. Kayleen said that's if Tyrion doesn't betray his team, when we were talking about Davos and Tyrion being the great advisors. That does bring into question, is there a possibility? We will talk about Tyrion. He is definitely on our list, but alphabetically, he's at the end. So, and then she says, I honestly can't stand Euron, however you spell his name. He's overhyped in the show, at least. And she says, yeah, Euron has already taken Yara and Theon once when they had way more fighting power. This is true on their ship. And they don't really stand a chance unless they manage to sneak in and out. And Ollie says, I wonder if the mountain can be turned by the White Walkers. That's a great question. And we don't have the mountain actually on our list. So we could maybe squeeze them in at the end. Talk about the mountain a little bit.
I think we're going to tie him in with the Hound, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
That makes sense.
So I really like what Kayleen was saying here about the fact that Euron already overpowered Yara and Theon when they did have a lot more fighting power. And they had the Sand Snakes and they had everybody with them. She's got a good point about the only way to free Yara is if Theon sneaks in and sneaks out. I think.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I thought
he doesn't have the
maybe-
balls. Get it?
I thought about that too. I thought, what if Theon was able to, sneak aboard, like when they go get the Golden Company, like say he got there and was able to get like sneak upon the ship, that could be something too. But clearly, I mean, we're in complete speculation at this point, folks. We have no idea what's happening.
Any more comments on Euron, guys?
No.
All right, let's go to our next character, the Hound. Good old pork chop face. John, what do you think's happening with the Hound? Do you think we're going to have the Clegane Bowl?
I think we're getting the Clegane Bowl this year. I think I can't remember the person. I've always thought that the Night's King can turn, because he's like he's either half dead or full dead or reanimated, but I think he can be turned. Because I think you can turn any person dead into a White Walker, right? Like that's what we're thinking. So I think he could be turned, and I think that sets up the fight with the Hound. And I also think the Hound's gonna have that like fuck off moment with fire and just like start doing shit and not be scared by fire. I think he's gonna turn a cheek.
Well, the fact that he saw that vision in the fire, maybe he's going to be a little less afraid of it.
Because he beat Baron Dontorian. There you go.
Beric Dondarrion.
It's different every time, John. You get a gold star, buddy.
Beric and Beric had the flame sword.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
He beat Beric and Beric had the flame sword, so I think he can when it comes to beat that. So
I think because
that's
Entertainment Weekly made one of their covers this, and this is clearly photoshopped, like they're not actually standing together, but the fact that they did this is like,
Could be.
I mean, that's totally them saying we're gonna get I don't want to. We're gonna get a Clegane Bowl. Honestly.
on a side note,
Yeah.
the actor who plays the Mountain, you need to say his wife, how small his wife is compared to him.
Thor. What's his name? Thor something.
Thorin something.
Jorgensen.
Yeah,
or
I was
something.
watching a workout video of him yesterday, matter of fact, and I'm watching this thing like, oh my god, this guy's incredibly.
Yeah.
He's like a real Hulk, like the
He's
real
a
Hulk.
strongman. He does strongman tournaments.
I think he's the
seen one of his-
strongest strongman right now. I think he holds the
No,
record.
that's the
Yes. No, he
the American
recently won.
is- No, I think the American is the world's strongest man. Because I think he's like semi-retired or something or whatever. But he does those competitions.
Okay, fair enough.
Clearly, I know the answer to this because I am a model of perfect health right here. Okay, so yes.
I pick it up and I put them down.
Yeah.
Come on.
Stop, I put it down.
I'm gonna butcher his name, but it's Halftor Bjornsson.
There's no way you
Ah,
could butcher
Bjornsson.
it. There's no way you could butcher
That's
it.
a badass name. My name is Thor Haffenbjornsson.
Half. Yeah,
Haffenfluffen.
Halftor Bjornsson. He is the Icelandic professional strongman and actor.
He is
He
the
is
winner.
currently
Yeah, he
the
is,
world's
so-
strongest man.
You are right.
So one
And-
could say, John, you were wrong.
I was wrong, and I admit that.
And
I
the
just said
first
she was right.
person to have won
it
Arnold
down.
Strongman Classic and European Strongman and World's Strongest Man in the same calendar year. He's literally
incredible.
the strongest guy on the planet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So him and the Hound are I don't think they're going at it, honestly.
there's just been too much, like, they've thrown that in our faces so much, though. When they were at the King's Landing, the big, when Daenerys came down with the dragons and they were talking to Cersei about this little Skelly that they brought back. And
Ollie.
the very first thing that you see is him walk up to the mountain and say, like, you know who's coming for you. It's him. They've got to have a Clegane
Ollie
Bowl.
just said that saying the guy's name alone can break you.
Yeah, it's my heart.
I want to
hurts,
say
right?
yes, but like so many times they mislead us thinking that we're going to have something happen and it doesn't happen. And that's what makes Game of Thrones fun. And I think the Clegane Bowl came by a theory like from Reddit or something, right?
Yeah. It's been going around for years and years. And it was because they hate each other, or I don't even know if the Mountain hated the Hound, but the Hound hated the Mountain his whole life. And so
Now in the books, I could see the bowl. I could see them fighting. In the show, I don't know. I don't think they're going to get. I mean, I'd like to see it, but I was wrong. I didn't think the Hound was coming back from the dead. I thought he was done, off the show, kaput, dead, not coming back. And then the next thing you know, bam, he's there, and I had to eat my foot again.
Key was in the books, the Gravedigger, with I can't bring up the name. It was Septon.
Something. What's his face?
Maribald.
That sounds pretty close. It sounded like a flower.
Yeah. Anyway, he was the gravedigger in some of those scenes in the book, and then they did a nod to the books when he was digging the graves outside, and Thoros came out and helped him.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of like, oh, look, he's digging graves, like in the book, because he was the gravedigger guy. And it was a fan theory for a long time, and then now that the shows are on and the shows are more canon, technically, than because we don't have any books past 5.
It's absolutely true.
So,
Nothing.
My prediction is the Hound is either going to save Arya or save Brienne of Tarth. And
I
I
don't think he's
think
going to save nobody. He's going to save himself.
I think he's going to die in the process.
I disagree. He's gonna have that. He's gonna have a moment, man.
Yeah, he's going to have that hero moment, that sacrificial. I agree with you, John. Sacrificial hero moment where he either protects Arya, or it's Brienne of Tarth.
or Sansa.
Oh yeah,
I
or
think it's
Sansa.
gonna be Sansa, because in the books they like that's a heavy love story, if you will.
What if they connect? What if they actually do
They
connect?
did connect because he saved her in King's Landing from being raped, and
Yeah.
then she was a little bird and whatnot, and they didn't go into detail in the show about their relationship. They didn't make it as strong in the show, but I think he's going to protect Sansa, and if he does die for anybody, it would be for her because she's not a fighter.
I can see that, because he's not going to get a girlfriend. He's not going to get Sansa.
No.
So he's going to probably end up,
That's true.
biting the
Just
bone.
look at the
See what I did there?
Just look at the warriors that's going to be at Winterfell. I mean, you got Jon Snow, you got Brienne Tarth, the Hound, Arya,
Jon Snow
Grey
was always
Worm,
first.
Jorah Mormont,
Literally everybody on our
Jaime
list.
Lannister. Like it's just like it's like some of the great swordsmen of Westeros is going to be there. Not to mention you got I forget his name now. Whatever. The bear.
Beric Dondarrion.
No, not Bear. The other one.
Beric
The other one,
Dondarrion.
I can't remember his Giantsbane. And he's
Tormund?
like crazy. Yeah, Tormund Giantsbane will probably be at Winterfell. And he's
Tormund.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a crazy.
Any comments you want to make before we move on?
I want to
I
read
think we're getting
Kaylee's
Clegane Bowl.
comments. You think we are getting
Yeah.
Clegane Bowl?
We're getting Clegane Bowl.
I think we're getting Clegane Bowl too. It's got to be. I don't know.
I just don't know when are they going to have time?
They could
Well,
They could make it quick.
Takes time. Like they're that. What if the
Wait,
mountain
okay,
gets
but my
turned?
question is, okay, hold up. Everybody time out. Time out. The Hound is at Winterfell.
Yeah.
The Mountain is in King's Landing. So what you're saying then is that the Hound survives the zombie winter apocalypse, somehow manages to get down to King's Landing,
Mhm.
and they're going to have an epic battle royale in King's Landing.
So if you want to know my whole theory, I think Arya and the Hound will both leave Winterfell, go down to King's Landing, and Arya will be killing Cersei. And that's been my prediction for a couple of years because my husband brought it up years ago and was like, that's Arya's arc is to kill Cersei. And why not bring the Hound because they're buds, right? And have the Hound do the Clegane Bowl.
Well,
Because
here's the
somebody
thing.
has to take the mountain on while Arya's fucking up
Yeah.
Cersei.
But here's the thing too. We already like just based on past episodes with the set photos. Jon Snow, they're all in they all go to King's Landing. So Winterfell is they're gonna get beat at Winterfell and they're gonna go south.
What pictures do we have?
We saw
all those pictures are not at King's Landing.
Yeah, we did an episode on this. Andrew got the set photos. Jon is with Cersei in King's Landing. We've seen the set photos.
Oh.
So we know that the
like
battle-
people took pirated photos. Like they
If
weren't
you
supposed
think
to
it's
take
just
them.
one battle at Winterfell in episode 3, no, there's going to be a battle probably episode 5 or 6, and it's going to be at King's Landing. They're going to retreat to King's Landing.
The only reason why I'm saying that may not be true is because if you look at all of the Entertainment Weekly photo shoots, they are all at what's the Lannisters' castle.
And they're all photoshopped, though.
They're all Casterly Rock, but yeah,
right,
that was a
Casterly
big
Rock,
Photoshop.
But why would
thing.
you put that as the backdrop? Why not just use King's Landing as the backdrop?
They could
Probably
do whatever they
lighting.
want because they
But
just
one bad.
photoshopped it.
I'm just saying, like, is there going to be something at Casterly Rock?
We don't, but they could just be fooling everyone. They don't want everyone to like.
They're just
know,
printing.
like,
They're just
they're-
trying to
they're-
get people to buy
yeah.
their magazines. They don't know any.
Yeah.
They don't know any inside
It's all-
information.
It's all HBO promotion. Like
Yeah.
they're not going to show anyone like, they're just trying to promote the season 8, and those are just promotion photos. Every show does stuff like that, like around a premiere.
Also,
Everything is under lock and key secret because at this
Yeah.
point, if it came out, it would ruin a lot of the hype.
Mhm.
So they're not
Um,
letting anything slip.
Big E says time skip, and I think he was referring to you, Julie, when you were saying like, how are they going to get back and forth and move to these great big areas? They did that in the last season, season 7. Everything moved much quicker, and people moved around much quicker, got to places faster. 1 minute Jon and Daenerys are in King's Landing, the next minute they're at. I think this was all in one episode. They were at King's Landing, and then they were at Dragonstone, and then they were damn
on
near
the boat.
damn
Yeah.
near Winterfell.
Then they're beyond the
people
wall,
are-
and then Danny shows up and saves them.
Right. Yeah. So like everything is moving at like hyperspeed. And because of the 6 episodes, it's going to have to continue. Kayleen also says, I think the Hound will die a hero. I don't think we're going to see the Hound plus Sansa in the show, meaning that relationship. It would be better if it were Arya. It'd be coming full circle. And then Big E says the great Podrick Payne. I don't remember what he was talking about. Episode 5. Oh, and he said episode 5. I believe he was saying like that's when we're gonna see. He's predicting episode 5, King's Landing. And then Kayleen says, I'm watching right now, and I forgot how much they talked on the side about Podrick and the prostitutes. Varys talking about it with Ross was hilarious.
Yeah, what did he do?
That doesn't jog my memory. Yeah.
Remember
Varys
Podrick?
talking to Ross?
Yeah, remember when Podrick did what he did with the prostitutes?
Yeah. But it was Bronn.
Yeah,
and
but
Tyrion
then
talking about
but
it,
then
wasn't it?
Ross did tell Varys, and he's like, "What did the boy do?" Like it was mentioned multiple
Oh.
times because it must have been so epic.
And we never found out.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of like
shit.
the honeycomb and the jackass in the brothel.
I want to
need
know
to
the end of that
finish
story.
Me too.
There is an ending.
So you know what I
okay,
was
but
thinking?
he's saying Clegane Bowl in episode 5 in King's Landing.
Now I could see.
Okay.
Let's say I like what you're saying, Trent. I'm kind of going with what you're saying. Arya and the Hound, their mission, because Jaime is now in the north, and Jaime says, "Hey, this is what's happening. Cersei's going to turn on you." So then they have to make a decision. They got to take her out. They got to cut off the head of the snake, and they got to take her forces over. So they're going to send Arya, the Hound, and probably a small contingency. They're going to go down there and try to sneak in and do their assassination thing. I can see exactly what you're saying. The Hound is fighting off the Mountain as Arya goes after Cersei, but I think the Mountain is going to kill the Hound. It's going to be a devastating. It's going to be a devastating explosion head kind of scene, like with Oberyn. The Hound is not going to win.
I think the Hound is too strong to let that happen. I think
Are you serious?
I think
You
he's
think
pretty
the
strong
Hound? Hold
himself.
on. You
Not
think
as
the
strong as
Hound
Mountain,
is too strong to let the Hound? Yeah, remember the Mountain ripped a guy's skull and spine out of the back of a guy. Like
he literally smushed a guy's head against the wall.
The Hound got his ass kicked by Bran of Tarth.
Yeah.
Think about what you're saying, buddy.
But I just know what I mean is Hound is too good of a fighter. I think he's got strength of his own. I just think that I don't see the Mountain doing something like that to the Hound unless he's got the Hound already wounded. Like if the Hound is like near dead, I could see that, but I can't see.
What's going to make people more emotional? The Hound beating the Mountain or the Mountain destroying the Hound to save Arya?
What if it's a double death? Like
could be, but we already saw him get stabbed with a baseball bat with spikes on it, and he didn't bleed.
What if Hound cuts his head off?
I mean, that was
a devastating.
Like, are you seriously
Yes,
saying
he
this
is.
stuff right now?
He is.
What if the Hound cuts his head off?
I can't right now. I just
So
can't.
in good, okay, there's good writing and there's bad writing, and it was really awesome to see Oberyn want to get vengeance for his sister and the children and want to kill the Mountain and to defend Tyrion. That was good writing. I don't know that it would be good writing if the fucking Mountain killed the Hound. like that's how this guy ends after all he's done and all he's been through.
But he does it really defending crappy. Arya, who is able to kill Cersei and escape.
Like I can see the Hound dying, but I also see it's one of those double death situations where maybe like I don't know, he gets stabbed and he pulls himself so he gets stabbed, but then the Hound just pulls himself in closer and just cuts the head off, and then he dies, something like that. I don't know if that makes. You know
I
what
wouldn't
I mean?
even know how you'd kill the Mountain at this point,
cut the head
honestly,
off.
because
Cut the head off.
Yeah,
I would assume the best way to kill him or fire.
That's a lot
we
easier
don't know.
said
I
than
think
done,
fire is gonna have to
cutting his head off is a lot easier said than done. And don't forget, look at it this way.
Oh,
perspective.
You said it, John.
What?
I'm sorry, Chris. No, that's perfect. He has to burn the fucking mountain because
that's
he's terrified. No, but he's terrified.
Yes.
Of fire.
Well, no matter what happens,
what is happening right
now? No matter what happens, whether the Hound burns him to death or the Hound is mutilated by the Mountain, you have to remember that the show writers, this is their last big hurrah, and they're going to squeeze every bit of emotion out of you so that you never forget the Game of Thrones. Like this is their last big kabow, and everything that you see is going to be attached to some kind of feels that are either going to make you cry, either going to make you really happy, or want to jump into traffic. It's gonna be intense. I'm telling you, this is their big hoorah.
I think Hound's dying. I think he's not making it. I think he's dying. But I think
we agree on that.
Light the mountain on fire first.
He's lighting the mountain on fire. I think he needs to kill. I think he needs to kill the Mountain for his art. Like because everything the Mountain did to him, I think it's for him to kill a Mountain would just be.
Makes sense.
I think he has to.
I like what you're saying. I just don't see him doing that only because it's too on the nose. Like when have we ever seen like good poetic justice in this show?
Don't ask him that question.
No, we're not going to go there.
You want to go there? Let's move on.
Please don't ask him that question.
Yeah, we'll be here all night talking about all the Starks that he wants to blow. Let's go to the next character. Okay, are you guys ready for the next character?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna go to Jaime fucking Lannister. Jaime Lannister is going to make it all the way to the end. He is the prince that was promised. You can all eat my ass. Jaime fucking Lannister for president.
I'm going to pass on that one.
Normally, this is where I say that Jaime is a douchebag, asshole, but I'm not going to say it because he is there in Winterfell. He is doing the right thing. I can't knock him for that. So I'm going to say that he will die this season. heroically.
Of course, he's gonna die.
I don't know how he's gonna die, but I think he will die. But I got a lot more respect for Jamie heading into this season than I did in the past. He's going into hostile territory where he's hated by pretty much everyone in that country, and he's there to do the right thing. And I can't hate him for that. So I do respect him. I think this is the season where the full redemption arc comes into play.
So with Jamie going to the north and kissing her ass and saying, "I want to fight for the living. Please take me. I'm so sorry." That you're okay with his redemption.
Yeah.
Because about a year ago, you wanted him to kill his sister. That was the only way he'd be redeemed in your eyes. We have that on tape. We have that on tape. But as long as he kisses Jon Snow's ass, see, that's a free
pass.
pass.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's doing for the first time in a long time. He's doing what is right. He's not just worrying about his family name. He's not worrying about his sister. He's doing for the first time what is right. He's saying fuck you to Cersei, and he's going north. And listen, I'll admit, last time I was last year and the year before, I said for him to be redeemed, he has to kill Cersei. I've changed my mind. Okay, I could change my mind. I could be changed. Okay,
Write it down.
He's only changed because he's kissing John's ass.
I'm not kissing John's. Stop. Okay, he's doing the
saying
right
Jamie
thing.
is. I'm saying that.
He's been doing the right thing, though. John has admitted that Jamie Lannister has been doing the right thing on his way to this point. I have him on tape for saying that too, and he has. He has.
The bad pussy just gets in his way, and he does some. He kind of reverts back, but I think this is the first. I think he's just like he ignored the bad pussy.
Well, you're right, and as sick as it is to have incestual relationship, Danny and John, as sick as it is for for the incestual relationship between anybody, Jamie's first love and his only love was his sister. He's never been with anybody else. No one else. So I still don't think it's right, any incest, whether you're brother and sister or nephews or cousins or whatever they are. I don't think it's right. But that was Jamie's love, and she really played that, oh, we're twins, we're supposed to be together crap. And that's really sucky. But yeah, I think that Jamie is going to die, unfortunately. I think he is. It's just what's going to happen.
Heroic death, though.
I hope so. I hear
gonna write that in.
How many times we've said heroic death. We should be taking shots because we keep saying that, and I don't think we're going to get all these heroic deaths. This is the Game of Thrones. This is, hey, oh my God, my guy's, oh shit, he just got ran over by a cart.
Think a guy like
He's
Jamie,
dead.
Well, don't you think a guy like Jamie, like I could understand like a Jorah Mormont not getting a heroic death, but a guy like Jamie, being that we've seen for all these years where a lot of people either hate him or like him or in the middle, you don't think he's gonna be one of those guys that gets that redemption
maybe
heroic death?
I mean, maybe. I mean, he's not going to do any spectacular sword fighting because he lost his good arm and he's still not very good with his left.
Because I think Jamie learns from experiences. Like right after the dragon just tore apart that Lannister army, he was like, we can't win. And he tried to tell Cersei, we can't win. One dragon did this to us. What's the other two gonna do? And Cersei was like, fuck it. She doesn't care, And Jamie, I think it was finally seeing that Cersei's like, you're not gonna care. I just was there. You're not listening to me. And I think now he understands who Cersei is.
Okay, what do you think, Trent?
I think it's going to be really interesting. And I think I mentioned this on one of the more recent podcasts that we did. When we were talking about Bran. And Big E just brought it up. The Bran and Jaime reunion. That's going to be really interesting because of the last time Bran saw him, it was the things I do for love.
Yeah. I have a prediction about that. I think that Bran is going to. Bran he's some kind of Professor X now. He doesn't have any emotion. He's going to see Jaime, and he's not going to give a flying shit.
Yeah, no. But Jaime will know.
Yeah, and I think that Jon and Sansa, like they'll be more upset about it and Bran will just be like, "Wow, everyone's making such a big deal out of this." But if this hadn't happened, I wouldn't have gone on the path to get my superpower. So,
right.
I don't know. I can't stand that. But it'll be interesting to see how that takes place. Julie?
And
I'm sorry, Trent. I didn't know you had more to go.
just gonna say that Jamie's had one of those arcs where he's just by virtue of him showing up at Winterfell and leaving Cersei, kind of like what John was saying, just by virtue of him doing that, he is trying to get his honor back, and he is kind of like reconciled his honor. And it started when he sent Oathkeeper off with Brienne of Tarth and said, go ahead and find the Stark girls and take them to safety or whatever. Like, that was the beginning steps for him, because before that he was a total turd. And that was kind of like his first action where he wasn't a total turd anymore.
So Catelyn Stark started Jamie on his redemption path by sending Brienne to bring him back to Winterfell, not knowing that was going to be the outcome. Although, you know, she's just another dead Stark, only by marriage, whatever. But that's interesting. That's interesting.
I think what started it, what really went into it, was the hand getting cut off, because he was acting as Jaime Lannister. You know, yes, he was trying to save Brienne, but he was acting like, when you act like the way he was, saying, I can buy you this, blah, 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 this, and stuff like that to a Northman, and he got his hand cut off, I think that humbled him a little bit. And that's where I think, like, I agree with you, Chris, it was Catelyn, but I think that was, like, even more like, I have to change. Because he can no longer depend on his sword skills to get him out of stuff.
Any thoughts, Julie?
Well, Jamie, for me, is, now this is me personally, I think Jamie is probably the most complex and redeemed character in the Game of Thrones television series, not based on the books. Obviously, there's more complexity in the books, but if we base it solely on the TV show, look at where Jamie began, you know, Kingsguard, you know, now, and then we uncover that he's having sex with his sister, and he pushes an innocent child out a window, and you're just like, fuck you. You're a big old dickhead. Blonde-haired, good-looking, fuck you. Like, that's how you feel against Jamie in that first season. You just want to punch him. Every time you see him on screen, you want to just punch him in the face. And then his story arc takes this roller coaster of emotion. You know, some days he's up, and then he's down, and then he's captured, and he's tied to a post, and Catelyn shows, you know, mercy to him. You know, get my daughters back here. I will let you free, but I want my daughters home. You know, and it's this bond and this word of a handshake type of thing, this deal between the two of them. And, you know, his mission was, you know, you showed me mercy. I'm going to do what I can. I'm a man of my word. And you start to notice in that transformation, and Chris, I think you were right on the money. That's the moment where Jamie's redemption begins, because Starks cannot trust the Lannisters. And Catelyn is now putting her faith and trust into this one guy who can literally go back on his word. Of course, at the time, she doesn't know that the Lannisters have given the order to have them murdered, herself included.
But she did know, because he confessed to pushing Bran out the window.
Right, she knew about that. But
she knew that, and she still let him go.
Right, exactly. Because at the end of the day, she wanted her daughters back. And she wanted nothing more than to be reunited with them. And I think that was like the peak of Catelyn's story arc too, if you think about it. But, you know, to have Jamie go through this redemption, and then I think what really pushes him over is that trip with Brienne. He and her create this connection, this bond that he had never had with another woman. Now, remember, Chris is right. He's in love with Cersei. That's his woman, blah, 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 blah. But he's taking this journey with Brienne and he's feeling a sense of, you know, pride to her. He's feeling this sense of, you know, wow, we could like be one and the same. Like, he's getting a different sense of the world with his journey with Brienne.
She brings out the best in him.
It does. It really does. It brings out the best in him. And then, obviously he goes through the whole thing where is in the pit with the bear and, all that stuff happens. And then he gets back to King's Landing and you can tell, even though, yes, he is minus a hand, he's not the same Jaime, even when he sees Cersei. We go back to that scene where him and Cersei have sex with Joffrey's body there. You know what I mean? Remember that? In the Sept? And he just didn't seem like he was into it like he was in past. And you could tell that Jaime was completely changing. He was just doing things to go through the motions because he was a member of the King's Guard. The moment he tells Cersei, and for lack of a better word, no, fuck you. This is more important than us sitting on the throne and our kids and da-da. This is more important. I have to defend humanity, humankind, the land of the living. And he's just like, fuck you, bitch, I'm out. And when Jaime does that and he doesn't even turn back, she's screaming, she's talking, he's just, fuck you. And out he goes. And there's nothing stopping him. He's like, you know what? He had seen the light. And I think if his story arc hadn't have taken what it did to get to the point where him getting back to King's Landing, with Brienne and all that stuff, I don't think Jaime would make that same decision. I really don't. But he understands the gravity of the situation. And he's like, why am I going to sit here and wait for death to come? I have to go and help and defend. So even if he is half a fighter, because he's still minus the hand, he's still going to be able to do some good up there. Does he survive? Yeah. No, I don't think Jaime survives. And I think somebody mentioned it in the chat or one of you guys did. He's going to die defending somebody, whether it's Brienne, whether it's Sansa, whether it's Bran. He is going to come full circle redemption and give up his life so that somebody else can live. That's where I think we're going with Jaime.
The dream creeper on wheels.
I speculate because you mentioned, how much influence Brienne had over him as far as positive influence.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if now that he's completely separate from Cersei, if they have any kind of moments, Brienne and Jaime, because you made a really good point about like he's never had that bond with any other female. So I'm wondering if, like, I know it's going to break John's heart because John really wants to see Brienne and Tormund together.
Yeah, I think we all do.
We all do.
But yeah, that would be cute. But I'm wondering if we actually see like, and it might not be sex. It could just be like a moment, a tender, loving moment of them embracing and, non-armor.
So you don't think Brienne's going to be like, I love what you did with your tongue there, Jaime? One of those.
Brienne, I don't know that Brienne's ever fallen in love
No.
with anybody.
Just Renly.
I think she's
Just
always been in
Renly.
love with
I don't
Jaime.
think she fell in love with Renly.
She was in love with Renly. I think she said it. She was in love with Renly. Not
I
in
think
that
she
way, but
loved Renly. I don't think she was in love
no,
with Renly.
she loved Renly, but not that way because Renly was
right. He was kind to her in their younger years, and so she always felt a loyalty to him.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have that with like Jaime and her fucking
But
hated
see,
each other.
I think the reason why she is, and this is what I think she's in love with Jaime
Mhm.
because she sees Jaime as her equal. Like
Yes.
equal in fighting skills, equal in, smarts. Like she is a fighter and he was that. And that is the first time she had ever been near somebody who was equal in matching her skill for skill.
Mhm.
So I think for her, she is in love with Jaime, but knows she can't do anything about it.
I think she would have whooped him in his prime.
Yeah.
That
I
would have
agree.
been a hell of a fight to see.
I think
Mhm.
Jaime. I think all the Lannister kids, with the exception of Tyrion, maybe Tyrion too, have father issues. I think they all have father issues. Tyrion's a bastard, so he accepted it. I think Cersei's always had her issues with Tywin, but like Tywin and Jaime had a.
Did you
very
say Tyrion's a
complex relationship.
bastard?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
Tyrion-
trying to figure out why you're saying that.
No, because I'm trying to say that all Lannisters have father issues, and I think a lot of what Jaime went through was having his father issues. Like one of
Tyrion said all bastards or all dwarves are bastards in their father's eyes.
Yeah.
I think that's what you were talking about.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm just saying because a lot of what earlier Jaime was that he had father issues. I don't think Tywin ever respected him, and I think the first sign of respect Jamie got was that scene in season 1 in the tent where Tywin was talking to him. Before that, I think when he accepted the Kingsguard, I think he lost Tywin a lot of respect for him, and I think it hurt Jamie.
Okay.
Yeah, but didn't Tywin tell him to be a Kingsguard?
No, he did that on his own
No.
to be near Cersei.
Yeah.
Cersei manipulated.
That's right. He did that to be near Cersei. You're right.
Because Cersei manipulated Jamie into being the King's Guard so they could be together, so they'd be closer together. And
In
I
King's
think
Landing.
Tywin
that's
essentially
right.
called him like a glorified bodyguard.
God, that felt like forever ago. God. Can't
Right.
believe we've come full circle. Jesus Christ.
All right. So I think we've beaten Jamie to death with a stump.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The comments.
Oh,
Big
go
E
ahead.
had
Yeah,
some
please comments.
Jamie will. Big E says Jamie will command the troops more than fighting, which is he's also a very strong general. So
Yeah, that would make sense.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. After Jamie lost his right hand is when Jamie hit rock bottom and started to change. Jamie is one of those people that has to hit rock bottom in order to change. And Catelyn letting Jamie go was the beginning of the end for Robb Stark's war campaign, which
That's true.
is very true. Now, I think actually Robb Stark lost the war when he broke his marriage contract with the Freys,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
married that other girl. Like
Well-
that's all on Robb.
Catelyn, I think the reason she released Jamie because I think she saw that Rob had no intention of ever trading. Rob had no intent. He says it. I got no intention of trading Jamie for two girls. I think his lords, his higher lords would like get so pissed off. So she saw that Rob had no intention of doing that. That's why she did that.
Yeah.
But that did start the seeds because it really made the Karstarks hate to turn against them.
Yes.
Okay. Is that all of our comments?
That is all of them.
Okay, the next character. I'm dreading to go into this.
Drum
All right, so
roll.
we're all just gonna mute ourselves.
Yeah,
right?
we're gonna let John
Okay.
start out with Jon Snow. Go ahead, John. You're gonna take the show because I know how much you love
Bathroom
John.
break and everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a bathroom
Right?
break.
I'm taking a bathroom break. Go
So,
ahead, John.
Go ahead, John.
Jon Snow is gonna survive. Obviously, he's gonna be king of everything. I think he's going to
He's gonna be
break.
king of everything.
He's gonna king of the Seven Kingdoms.
He's gonna be a demigod, and
Well, yes. Well, technically, let's be honest. Came back to life. Anyways, I
So
think.
does Beric Dondarrion six
I think
times.
John. I think John.
Can you
is
say
going
that?
to- Okay. Can I finish my set? Can I finish here, please?
Yes,
I'm
go,
trying to
go,
knock.
go.
I'm not trying to be calm here.
Right. Okay.
Burn. John is going to become king of Westeros. I think he'll break it back up into Seven Kingdoms because I think he'll realize it just can't be ruled by one person, and I don't think he's going to live in King's Landing. I think he'll stay in the north. He's going to kill the Night's King. He's right now going to lead the Avengers, the forces of good against the Night's King. He's gonna marry Dany. I think somehow this season they're gonna have twins. I think a twin boy and twin girl. Outside of that, I mean, it's Jon Snow. I mean, he's gonna be the one surviving because he's fire and ice, or he's ice and fire.
Is he done? That was quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it
hope
was
so.
basically
Oh, I'm not. I don't.
I'm just
John's
waiting for the
raising
unicorns.
To godhood.
He's gonna ride on a rainbow unicorn.
So, okay, my turn. I think John's dead, and I cannot wait to see John die. Now, I like the actor, I like the character, but I am so tired of this guy. Like, oh
You've
my
already
God, it's the
seen
Jon
him
Snow. He's
die.
Jesus of Westeros. Yeah, he's resurrected. I'm just tired. I'm done with him. I'm ready for somebody else to be in the spotlight for a change. I hope he dies and Dany just runs the show. Or I would even be happy with Sansa just being like, I can't take it anymore, and just sticks a knife in his back and like, just shut up, man. Tired of this guy. And now he's having sex with his aunt.
Yeah, but he's a Targaryen. That's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. No,
I
in
mean,
all
the Targaryens
seriousness.
have done that going all the way back to the beginning.
In all in all
Sorry,
seriousness.
reading the comment.
In all seriousness, I think that that John will die. Probably because he's going to fight the Night King, and it's going to be a stalemate. I don't know. I have a feeling that John is going to die, but Dany's going to live. That's just my. I don't have any proof to that. I'm just kind of guessing, but it just feels right to me to say that.
I gotta add this. Ollie in
Go
the
ahead.
chat says his first act upon becoming a demigod, Jon Snow will magically restore Greyjoy's tallywhacker so that he can once again have a happy ending.
That's funny.
That's great.
I'm surprised that John didn't come up with that one.
Yeah.
Poor Theon missing his rub and tug.
All right, Julie, what's going on with John?
Oh God, really?
Not our John, but the Messiah.
Here's the thing. I do like Jon Snow. I've always liked the character Jon Snow. I thought that there was always more that to meet the eye with when it came to Jon Snow. He, I never in a million years believed he was the offspring of Ned Stark. Never in a million years did I believe that. Even when I first read the books, there was just something about it that didn't really flow with me. And now, obviously, and you guys know if you've listened to Behind the Iron Throne, I was one of the major pushers of, L plus R equals J, and I've been firm with that for the whole time, and I was so glad that it was justified, right? But I feel like with Jon, you're looking at probably one of the most complex characters within the story arc of the show itself. Here is this young man who really doesn't have a whole lot going for him, but the fact that he's a pretty good swordsman in his own right, at least in Winterfell circles, and he's a bastard, and there's some secrecy as to why he's a bastard, and Catelyn doesn't love him, and Catelyn can't stand him, and you feel bad for the kid, and you kind of hate Catelyn at the same time for it, like how the hell, but then, and then he goes off to the wall, and he lives this journey of, gray and darkness, and, kind of like being a fuck the world kind of thing, but then, you know what, no, these are my brothers now, my brothers in black, these are my guys now, and he really focuses in on what he's good at, and he starts to really love where he is, and they become his family, and he feels really close to them, and then he goes beyond the wall, and the death and the resurrection, and all this stuff that Jon goes through. And then when he gets to meet Dany, I think you see Jon at his absolute best. You see Jon really understand that he is in a very important position, not only being the king of the North at this point, but the fact that his and her, coming together is going to save their lives. It's going to save Westeros. I think he understands that. I think he understands that more now than he ever would have when he was younger. I don't believe Jon Snow dies. So Mr. Stonemoss will be very thrilled that I said that. I do not believe that Jon Snow dies. I believe he will have an epic battle with the Night King. I think that is when we are going to be, I think that's when it's going to be revealed that Jon is the prince that was promised. I think that's probably the best part of the best area of which that could be. Do I think they have twins? No, I think that's a little far-fetched. I think we're going way abstract on that one. But I think he and Dany will marry. I think they will ascend to the throne. But I think there's going to be a lot of devastation in the process. But I don't believe Jon dies in this show.
He has too much plot armor. Oh, God. He does. I mean, honestly, he's got all the plot armor. Stop. Anyway, I don't think Jon Snow is going to die, mostly because we saw him. We saw those leaked set photos of him down in King's Landing talking to Cersei, or somehow in with Cersei. So there's that. He's got crazy plot armor. And when you're talking about Jon Snow as a character, like I'm kind of over him, like Chris, the same way. Like I'm kind of over Jon Snow. They did a really good, a couple of years ago, I don't know if you guys saw this clip. It was Late Night with Seth Meyers. and it was bringing Jon Snow to a dinner party, and he
I
was
saw that.
so.
I
Remember
saw
that?
that. Yeah.
And he was so like broody the whole time, just talking about like the most sad blah stuff. That is Jon Snow's character. Like that's his personality. He doesn't have like a range of emotions.
And
He
who?
doesn't what?
I'll go finish what you're saying.
Oh, like he doesn't ever like for a split second we saw him a little bit happy with Ygritte, but other than that, he's like the same face all the time, the same actions all the time. Like there's just it's just shallow character. I wish they would have done more. I know they couldn't mimic the books too much and give us all of his thought because in the books he's got lots of like thoughts and they didn't give him those dialogues. So a lot of his good character from the books is cut out of the show. So the character development, yeah, you see him go through a whole bunch of stuff, but like he hasn't changed. He hasn't really developed in anything except like a demigod on a unicorn, like with plot armor, you know, forever and ever and ever. Like the guy has all the plot armor. So we'll see. Yeah, Biggie said that Jon Snow will beat Thanos. That's fucking hilarious.
That's funny.
How
Make the
epic was
jokes.
that trailer, by the way?
That was epic trailer. You said he doesn't show any emotions, Trent. You said he's like very serious all the time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know who that is? That's Ned Stark. That's Ned.
Okay.
Ned was always like that, and
Yeah.
I think John, more than any Stark kid, truly was Ned's son, even though he wasn't Ned's. So like he took to all of Ned's values. I think Rob had a little bit, but then you started seeing the mistakes Rob made. John was all like, I think John is the true. I mean, he's not Ned's son, but I think he more than anyone learned from Ned more than all of the kids. And I think because he was a bastard. And I disagree with you. I think he has changed. I think he always learns and changes and adapts all the experiences that he's been through. Look at all the things he's been through, and he gets better and better as a person. I mean, you know, he went from being like this knight to be. He went from joining Night's Watch to being Lord Commander to being King of the North, and now he's like leading the entire
King of the
defense
universe,
force.
beating
Like,
Thanos.
did you ever think? Let's be honest. You go back to season 1. Did you really think John was going to be at this point? It's a crazy arc for John, and I mean,
kind of from a storytelling perspective, season 1, they follow him to the wall. Like, of course, Tyrion is a main character and he goes to the wall with Jon, but why would you show so much of this one bastard kid's life and make so much about him if he didn't mean something really important?
In the
like
larger scheme, yeah.
Yes, because really, like, who wants to watch the freaking wall?
Yeah,
like
right.
episodes
Even
of
though
the
it is
wall.
pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, but there.
But see,
there
I
had
don't
some weight.
think I have to disagree with John on this one. I don't think John will take the throne. I think
Oh, he's
what'll
breaking it
happen
up.
I think what'll happen is John will say, you know, no, I don't want it. It's hers. He's
But-
going to give it to Danny. He's not going to want that pressure. He's not going to want that responsibility.
I think it's going to be broken up. I think either way, like I think Danny's dying. I said it last time. I think she's dying. I think that's the what's Chris always say, the gray ending or something like that.
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet ending. I think that's Danny dying. And even if
She's gonna break the wheel on her way out, though.
they both, the spokes in the wheel keeps turning, but she kept saying like whenever all the spokes in the wheel keeps turning and she wants to break the wheel, the best way to break the wheel is to break up the seven, because as long as there's one thing, there's always gonna be someone gonna rebel. But if you break it back up into 7 kingdoms, you know, I just think the best thing is to break
I
it
love
up.
it when I'm sorry, John. We can
What?
hardly hear you because like
Sorry.
it goes robotic for a minute and then it like catches up, and so you're
Okay.
speaking really, really fast. Really,
Well,
really
I
fast.
can't
And it's
blame
like,
for my
oh,
Canadian internet sucks. Okay, Canadian internet sucks.
It was just hilarious.
I just think
No.
whether they both live or one of them dies, the 7 kingdoms is getting broken up into back to West. Because why would you write an entire backstory of these being 7 kingdoms if you're not going to come back to it?
Right. So Biggie says Jon Snow 2020 hashtag MBGA make brooding great again.
That's funny. Oh my God, Jon Snow is a pretty interesting character, and we're definitely gonna. He was definitely more important than I ever thought he was in the beginning of the first episode. You know, the first season. As well, I mean, we always knew there was something special about him, and then we read the books, and then we learned that we all kind of knew that he was special. And we've been debating whether he's the prince that was promised, or if it was Dany's the prince that was promised. Well, this year we're going to find out who the hell the prince was promised is actually Dany, or is it Jon Snow? But I think that he is the product of ice and fire. If you look at his parents, lineage that's going on there. I will definitely be happy to not have to hear about Jon Snow anymore, at least until the books come out. Just because, I don't know, I'm just tired of hearing it. And I think it's Jon's fault. Jon, I love you to death. But I have never met anyone that loved a character more than you to the point of actual obsessive behavior.
I don't
It's
know
creepy.
obsessive with Jon Snow.
Oh, yes, you do.
don't.
But I was going to say this, Trin, what do you think, just because I had this thought in my head, what if the Song of Ice and Fire is not Jon, but it's Jon and Dany's offspring?
So some people have played around with the wording. If you take the G out of song, it's the son of Ice and Fire. Which I always thought was Jon Snow because of Lyanna being ice and Rhaegar being fire.
Fire, yeah.
The son of Ice and Fire. And so now that we know that Jon is a real Targaryen, he's actually a Targaryen, there's a little more fire involved with Daenerys and Jon if they have offspring. The prince who was promised that Chris was just talking about, and they threw this in here on purpose. It was during a talk with Melisandre, and Missandei clarified for everybody. And I know that they wrote this in very specifically on purpose, that it's not the prince who was promised, it's prince or princess who was promised. And that's not even the part that I think that was important. I think the important part was when Melisandre said, prophecies are vague, or they're a little hard to, they're touchy. It's, you both have a part to play, were her exact words.
Yeah.
Meaning Jon Snow and Daenerys both have a part to play in the prince or princess who was promised, meaning takes two to tango.
Right.
So I think their offspring will be the prince or princess who was promised.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. I guess we'll move on to the next character if you guys are ready.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Lord Varys. Lord Varys is another one of my favorite characters.
Yes.
And, well, we know he dies. They all die.
Yeah.
Melisandre tells him that he's going to die. I forget exactly what she says, but I feel
In this
like
country.
Yeah, it's going to happen in Westeros somewhere. I hope that he survives to the end. Only because I'm very happy with the character. At least from face value, he says that, everything he does is for the realm.
Mm-hmm.
If Dany's good for the realm, then he's for her. If Dany's bad for the realm, well, shit on you. So I like that. If that's true.
There's a lot of theories about him.
I don't
lot
think
of
he does
fan
what's good for the
theories.
realm.
There's a theory that he's secretly a Blackfire. There's a theory he's a merman. There are some really, and you know what? When you go and read about him, you're like, oh, I could see where they came up with that.
Yeah. Well, it's like the theory of Roose Bolton being a vampire. I mean, there was some weird ones out there, but I don't know. I like Varys. I've always liked Varys, and I always liked Varys and Littlefinger and Peter Baelish when they were kind of going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to see him die. I have a feeling that most of these characters are going to die.
Mm-hmm.
A bittersweet ending, It's Game of Thrones. They kill everyone you love. It's not like Lord of the Rings where, oh my God, he fell off a cliff and his horse rescued him and he's alive. No, he got ran over by a cart as people were fleeing from a dragon. He's dead. So,
Right.
I think that we're not going to see a lot of these characters live. I
I
don't
don't
think
think
I don't think he's up to no good. But go ahead, John.
I don't think he does what's good for the realm, to be honest. I think maybe sometimes because, you had a chance to free Ned Stark, and Ned Stark says, "Can you free me?" I'm like, "I will, but will I? No." Like, I think he number one is to serve himself, and then number two is to serve the realm. Sometimes I could see him wanting to serve the realm, but some of the actions he does, I'm just like I don't know what with him because he's so mysterious. Like there's a past there. Is he a Blackfire? Is there's so much past? Like, he rescues Tyrion. He wants to put Daenerys on the throne, but that's going to lead to a war. So what are you really doing? What's good for the realm? Or are you doing what's good for yourself? Because by supporting Dany and helping Dany, you're going to start another war. So if you really want what's good for the realm, you wouldn't start wars. So I just don't know. I think he'll die though. I just don't see no point in him living. I think he dies.
I don't know. Julie, any thoughts on Lord Varys?
Yeah, I don't think Varys' allegiance is to the realm. I think his allegiance is to the Targaryens. It's been widely said, and of course if you go into the books and everything he's done up to this point is to make sure that Dany got to the peak where she needed to get to. I think his allegiance is to the Targaryen family. His allegiance is not to the realm.
I agree with you.
I mean that is very clear in almost everything he has done, and especially with what you said about Ned. He had the opportunity to free Ned, and he was like, "No, I'm not doing it." They call him the snake for a reason. He makes sure that he situates things correctly and how he wants to situate them. Him then fleeing with Tyrion to see Dany and Essos, that was important because now he's with her. Now he is with the Targaryen bloodline where he now knows that she is ready to assume that position, to take that arc where she needs to go. So now he is right where he wants to be, and he is right alongside his Targaryen love, and that is the ball. That's it. That's all he cares. He doesn't give a shit about the realm. He cares about the Targaryens, and that is all.
I agree with you because he's also could be a Blackfire. I do agree with you everything you said, Julie. Because if you really care about the realm, you free Ned Stark. Ned Stark's not gonna take his men north. He's not gonna take his men and fight a war. He's just gonna go back north, and try to negotiate to get his daughters back. He's only care like I do. He's a secret Targaryen loyalist. I mean, I agree with you.
I don't even think it's secret. I think he is out.
Oh, now it's out. Now it's out. But
Yeah.
he was always, I think, even when the Mad King fell, I think he was always that secret Targaryen because, he knew he had his spies. He knew where Daenerys was every second of the time.
Oh yeah, he knew exactly
So
where she was.
if he was really so he's just he's probably a Blackfire, and I think I agree with you. He's just always been with the Targaryens.
Yeah, I mean, even when he could have helped Robert in many aspects of, he knew what Cersei was doing. He knew Cersei was plotting to murder Rob. He didn't give a flying rat's ass. He let it happen. He's got enough little birds and a little, all that stuff, little snakes all around. He knows what's going on. His loyalty is to the Targaryens.
He knows more than I think he knows who Jon Snow is. I think he knows so much because I want to know.
Hell yeah, he does.
One of the things I really would love to know is how far that bird network go. Like it's everywhere.
Right.
It's the entire Seven Kingdoms. It's probably in Essos. It's
definitely in Essos.
It's everywhere. Just want to know how massively huge that his network is because he knows everything. I think he knows who Jon Snow is. He knows everything. That's the one mystery I would love to know is just how big that network is.
That's going to be a great conversation for Varys and Bran. Like, Bran literally has like the power of the Oracle, seeing, all knowing, and Varys kind of knows everything.
That'll be epic.
Because Varys has all of his little birds everywhere
That'll be an epic. If that's, please God, please tell.
Right?
Hopefully that scene does happen.
That'd be a cool.
Because I can guarantee you that Bran's gonna call him out on shit, but Varys is gonna be like, well, I already knew that this was who you were. Like, I have children of the forest who are my birds. Like, he's gonna just, like, fucking throw shit at him. Like, they're gonna go tit for tat, the two of them. It's gonna be great.
My favorite line in season 2 is when I think Davos' son asked Davos, do you think they know we're coming? And Davos is like, Lord Varys knows what you had for breakfast last week or something like that.
Yep.
I think that was my favorite line.
Ollie says he knows what you had for breakfast 3 days ago.
Yeah.
I think that was the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Lord Varys is not a lord, and he was a commoner, I think. For people who aren't familiar with all the books, there was a story called Dunk and Egg, and it was about an Aegon Targaryen, and he was a kid. He was in the line. He was Aegon the Unlikely, I believe, was that Dunk and Egg's egg. Yeah, he was Aegon the Unlikely because he was like the third or fourth or fifth son down in the line of succession, and so it was like a bunch of people had to die for him to become king. Anyway, he as a child shaved his head so that people would know he was a Targaryen because they're known by their blue or purple blue eyes and their silver gold hair. Varys, we've never seen him with anything except a bald head. And I think the whole time he's been in King's Landing, he's also been bald. And so I think he might be trying to hide that Blackfire hair. I'm a supporter of the theory that Varys is a secret Blackfire.
Yeah, that could very well be.
That'd be my guess too.
Which would make complete sense that he's always been for Targaryen.
Yep.
Because he was for Viserys until he died, and then Dany. And in the books, I think he also supports Fagon.
Yeah, everything he did up until the minute he gets on the boat with Tyrion, he has tried to, maneuver it so that the two young Targaryens over in Essos survive, and they get to where they need to get to. He has birds everywhere. I mean, one of the most epic things ever was watching him and Baelish go, network for network. Imagine what it's gonna be like when he is when he's in Winterfell, and now the Night King is coming, and Dany, and now he knows that Dany and Jon, and he knows that Jon is the offspring. His head's gonna explode. He's gonna be like, "This is what I always dreamed of." I'd say he'd masturbate, but he doesn't have a penis to masturbate with. But I'm just saying, like, this is what he had dreamed of when he stayed, in the council, even when King Robert was there. He pretended like I am an honor to serve the throne. It's an honor to serve the throne. No, motherfucker, you're serving the Targaryens. You stayed in the hope that one of those two, whether it was, what was the brother's name? Viserys, right?
Viserys, Daenerys, and I think he also knew about Jon Snow.
Yeah, and
I really do.
This is what he was waiting for. He waited for this moment in time, and now it's here. I don't think he dies, but there could be something that unfortunately happens. But I think it's highly interesting that in the clip that we got, that 1 minute, like what was it, like a 1 minute and 45-second trailer, he's in the tombs.
Yeah, he's in the crypts, looking worried, in the crypts,
and that
looking
is
real worried.
Like, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him in everything. Even when the Battle of Blackwater happened, even when all that shit went down, you never saw him like truly like, holy fuck, what's about to happen?
He, just like Littlefinger, was always 10 steps ahead of every situation, and he had a lot of control over a lot of situations, so he never looked worried about anything because he always
he knew how to counter it. Yeah.
Yes. And down there, he's
scared shitless
with the women. Like, he's down there with the women and babies.
Yeah.
Like a chicken. He's not a fighter, obviously, and he said that to Ned
Definitely not.
Stark. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting to see. We know he's gonna die. I think he's gonna die because him and Melisandre have to die in that country. But I think it's gonna be like way towards the end. Because why would they have brought him all the way to Winterfell
Right, just to kill him right away.
just to kill
Yeah,
him right away?
exactly. He goes
That
all
doesn't
the,
make
he goes all the
sense.
way to Essos, gets swears his allegiance, and then comes all the way back
Yeah.
to Westeros just to die like that quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it drags out.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Melisandre is going to head back to Essos. So I don't think we're going to see her very much.
I think she's going, and she's on our
Oh,
list.
she's on the list. Yeah, she's on the list,
So we'll talk about her and what I think she's coming back with.
Okay, so anything else about Lord Varys we want to discuss? Anything in the comment section?
Just no.
Okay,
no.
let's move on to Missandei.
All right.
I want to get through a couple more people before we close out.
Yeah. So Missandei.
I think
feel
her
like
story is
Missandei-
useless anymore.
Well, it's useless now, but I feel like for me, the best definition for Missandei's character is she is like Dany's right hand, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, what do you call it? Like, not a secretary, but like, crap, I can't even think of the word that I'm looking for, but
Like an assistant.
Like an assistant. Like this girl will go through hell and back for Dany, and and I think they have a really good relationship and a really good understanding with each other, and it's mutually respected, both between the two of them. But I agree with Chris. I think her story has kind of come to a head. Like I don't know where the significance is for her anymore now that Dany and Jon are finally together in that bubble. She's not going to really need Missandei in the same retrospect that she needed her at Essos, because she needed Missandei over there because she understood the culture. She understood the different quadrants of where they were. Missandei doesn't know jack squat about Westeros. So I really feel like there's nothing for her at this point, just her character in love with Grey Worm. That's really all that it is now.
Yeah. She's going to advise Dany a little bit. She's going to make, she's going to be all worried about Grey Worm. She's just, I hate to say it this way, but at this point, eye candy.
Yeah.
I mean, John, what do you think?
Yeah, she's useless. Like, I mean, in what's coming up, she's useless. I mean, like, what is she gonna do? Like, she's just an advisor who speaks multiple languages. I mean, I can't see anything for her
that aren't really going to be helpful in Westeros.
Yeah.
I mean, I like her character. I think the actress is awesome, but I don't see the point. Really don't.
I mean, she was good for, like I said, for her being over in Essos and needing to understand what each area, and as Dany needed to learn and understand each part of the cultures in those areas. Her service was invaluable for Dany right now, because they're both. I mean, think about it. Essentially, Dany is in a foreign world. Yes, Dany was born in Westeros, but she left when she was such a tiny baby because of all the stuff that was about to happen to those two, and they had to get them to safety. Dany doesn't know Westeros. She knows nothing about it, and she didn't know Essos either. But having Missandei was invaluable for her completely. Now, she doesn't have that value anymore. I mean, except for a friend, and I mean, I don't really think there's a necessary need to have that character arc for Dany. She's not going to need that. I mean, you're about to go into the biggest battle in the Seven Kingdoms. You don't need, this is my friend Missandei. She's going to pick out my wedding dress. Like, you don't need that. You don't need it.
Makes sense to me. Uh, well, she may use her for moral support. I mean, they are friendly, but I don't see any other reason for this character. Trent, any last thoughts on Masende? I think this is going to be the quickest character we go through.
Yeah, she's not really developed a lot. I mean, in the books, she's got a little more dialogue with Danny, but as far as like her relevance to the outcome, I mean, maybe she'll be like she could possibly stick around and make it through and not die, which I don't see the point in killing her off, to help raise Danny's baby, because she is the closest person to Danny if Danny were to pass. So that would make sense.
That could, yeah, that would be the only reason why you would keep Masende around then, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that for sure. All right, let's see. Masende, yeah, I think she's going to live. All right, next character is Melisandre. Let's talk about Melisandre. John, what's going on with Melisandre?
I think she's going to get I think she's get a whole bunch of red priestess and head down to Westeros. I think she's got a big role to play in this story. She's we know she's very powerful. We know she knows stuff, and it's gonna be interesting. I'm hoping there's some like red knights she's gonna be accompanied with that's gonna help too, and I'm hoping that we get to see more of her magic. Like I know that her magic's always been questionable on the show. Like she couldn't bring John back. But I hope like she also has that moment where she does something epic. I don't know what that is. Maybe she turns the Viserion back into a regular dragon. I have no idea, but I think she is going to have a.
Yeah, right,
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. I think she's also gonna have a very big moment against the Night King. Like maybe a face to face or something to do with the Night King and Bran. Like I think her Bran is also. I can't wait to see those two have a big interaction. So.
I honestly think that she's going back to Essos, and that's it. We're done with her.
Really?
Well, she did mention to Varys that she's out of here. She's going back to Essos, and she's done. And I think that's. Is she on the cast? Is she on the cast list?
Yeah, she said to Varys that she was coming back.
Oh. Well, maybe I'm wrong.
I think she is on the cast list.
She said we both have to die in this country.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
She did say that.
So they took Danny when Danny was in Marine and traveling around Slaver's Bay and doing all that thing. They showed a lot of red priests, a couple different. They showed a male. They showed the Asian-looking one that Tyrion saw when he was right before he got kidnapped by Jorah. They showed, oh gosh, I can't remember her name. The high priestess came and talked to Tyrion and Varys, and that was the one. Oh God, what is her name? Oh no,
I cannot think of it off the top of my head.
Help me out, fans. Anyway, she came. Oh, Kinvara.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, pulled that one out.
Success.
So, Kinvara came and talked to Varys and said to Varys, like, I know what happened to you, and I know what the guy said to you when they burned your parts and all this stuff, which would be very interesting to know. I don't know if that's actually put out in the books or in the show or either or neither.
I know that they mention it. I want to know what the hell was said.
Words. Yeah, there were words, and I don't know if it was the guy worshiping the red god or not. Anyway, because we've seen so many priests of R'hllor, I think that John was right. I think that Melisandre is coming back with a fuck ton of fire priests because it makes sense in the war against the dead to have fire people around. You know what I mean? So it would absolutely be a great army to have with you.
Very true.
I will say this in case anybody was wondering. I'm on Karis Van Houten's web IMDb at the moment, and it does not show her as Game of Thrones 2019, it only shows her from 2012 to 2017. Now, maybe that's because they kept it under wraps and they don't want you to know that she's in it. So take that as you will. I'm just throwing it out there that she is not listed as being in any filming of Game of Thrones in 2019.
However, when Game of Thrones official put out their Twitter emojis, she had an emoji.
She did have an emoji. You're right.
Huh.
So she's in the cast. She's in the emoji list. I think that means something. I know
It's
you
gotta
made
mean
it.
something, damn it.
Right?
She's in the list.
Was she in the? She was in the entertainment set photo.
Yes. She was in the.
She
Then
was in
she's
the
in.
set
I think
photos,
she's in.
yeah.
I think she's in it then. If she's in that set photo, I think she's in this year. Again, she's one of those people that was there from season 2 on. Like she's like, I think you can't just ignore. Like same thing with Braun. I think her and Braun have been there too long for you to just write them off like that. Like be like, okay, you're disappearing. Like I think they'll be in this season.
She might have had more, because the last season of Game of Thrones, season 7, she was pregnant in that. So what they probably did was wrote her out, like to go get the priests back in Volantis and bring them back because it was convenient to not have her in too many scenes.
Yeah, because
for
didn't she just
pregnancy.
have the one scene of meeting Daenerys and that was it?
Yeah, and
in
she had the
season
big
7?
heavy
Yeah.
robes on to cover her pregnancy. But it was getting cold because the winter was coming.
Yeah.
And so it made sense.
Yeah,
it
it
all
did.
worked.
All right. So, Melisandre, any other thoughts on Melisandre? Anything from the audience? John, Julie, anything you want to add?
I mean, I've always had a love-hate relationship with Melisandre. I hated her. I thought she was manipulative. She manipulated Stannis. Couldn't stand her. Everybody can go back and listen to all those episodes we did on Pie and the Iron Throne where I just rip into Melisandre. And I think for me, I've always thought she was a fraud. I always was in that category of she's a fraud, she's a fake, she's a phony. Again, great episodes if you want to listen to them. I'm kind of embarrassed by those, but I think after sacrificing Stannis's daughter, and what Sir Davos kind of goes at her with, I think that again we have that coming of Jesus moment basically for the character, that time where they make their transformation. She definitely doubts herself, after that. And then even when she's trying to bring Jon back to life, she doubts herself in that moment. And I think, that she is a complex character. And I think the reason why she is so complex is because she is the Red Witch. I think because she does have skin in the game in so many different avenues. But I also feel like she has an important role to play. There's still something there that is not explained yet. And that is what she saw in the fire. We still don't know what she saw in the fire. And I'm kind of hoping.
Which fire?
Remember back
Season 3?
I think it was in
season 2?
either season
Was it
2
end of
or
season
3.
2?
I can't remember which, where she looks into the fire and she has that look on her face, like she sees something and she kind of has like a scared look on her face. Now I don't know if she saw the coming of the war that we're about to have. I want to know what she saw in the fire.
Was it the scene where her and Stannis looked in the fire, or just her? Because there was a scene where I think it was at the end of season 2. She had Stannis look in the fire.
She had Stannis look in the fire, but I think that was understood what he saw in the fire.
I think what she saw in the fire was Jon Snow.
She said, "I see snow."
Because I think when they got the Raven, right, to staying when they got the Raven in season, I want to say 3, and Davos is like, "You need to read this," and it's from the Wall. She right away said the war is in the north, right? So she convinced Stannis to not even bother no more with King's Landing or the south, and go north. I think she was using Stannis once that Raven came in to get to Jon and to be with near Jon. Because I think like you and even Stannis is not stupid enough to be like, I'm gonna go north and try to take on the Boltons. The north is he knows better. He knows the north is just terrible time of year, especially with winter. I think that was all. I think she was using once she saw what you like you said, Julie. Once she saw in the fire, I agree with you that like she was like, Jon is there. There's something there. Jon is important. I'm gonna go to there because it makes no strategic sense to go north and if your goal is to be King's Landing. So I think she was using Stannis.
I would disagree. And the reason I would disagree was because she knew there was a war, the Great War, she said, up by the wall, and the living and the dead, and she brought that up. I don't think she saw Jon Snow because her visions are more like metaphors, and I think she saw snow falling, and it meant Jon Snow. She just didn't interpret it as Jon Snow at that point because I don't know that she knew anything about Jon Snow prior to meeting him. Really, I don't think they had like a lot of interactions and stuff.
We also don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what goes on in her mind. Like 1 minute she's supporting Stannis to be king. She's calling Stannis king of Westeros and everything like that. So you're just gonna change your entire thing instead of going south. You're gonna go to the wall first, not even to like if your goal was to take Winterfell, you go to White Harbor, and White Harbor is closest to Winterfell. Then you could just march. You know, if you can avoid
if she
your army
knew that she was going to Jon Snow, why would she have burned Shireen?
But then why would she go to the wall first and not go to White Harbor, which is
I know, but it doesn't make any sense. Why would she burn Shireen?
Yeah, that's another good question. Yeah.
To see Jon.
To see Jon what?
To see Jon Snow. I think she always wanted, because even that scene where
but she saw Jon Snow.
She saw Jon. Yeah, that was
they
after.
were at the wall, and then they left the wall to go down to Winterfell, and she leaves Jon Snow at the wall, and he gets killed.
Well,
and he gets killed, and then she goes and burns Shireen. If she knew that Jon Snow was in her prophecies, then why would she have left him and then burned Shireen? That doesn't
you're
make
gonna tell
sense.
Stannis, who wants to be king, you're gonna stay at the wall. You really think Stannis is gonna, first of all, hire a mercenary army?
That's fine. So she goes down with him, but why burn Shireen?
To end the snow. I think she believes Shireen will end this because they were trapped in a blizzard. Like they were losing supplies. Like Ramsay burnt their food. They were losing everything, and she's like, maybe she thought that burning Shireen will end the snow, which it kind of did a little bit. The snow did go away.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole reason she did it. But I think she was there to see, because you go back to season 4, and when they're burning the bodies or something, like you see through the fire, she's staring down Jon Snow at the end of season 4. So I think she was always went to the wall to see Jon, and I think I think the fire was like something to do with Jon Snow.
Okay.
Well, either way, I think we're done now. Everything has been covered for tonight's show, I think. Next episode, we're going to do Sam Tarly, Sansa Stark, Ser Jorah, Theon Greyjoy, Tyrion, Grey Worm, the Night King, and any possible extras that we feel like adding on to the list. Our next episode, is that in 2 weeks, or are we doing that next week? I don't remember.
I wouldn't mind doing next week.
Or next week, whatever.
Next week will be fine.
Because
as long as the fans will be there for the next week.
Right?
Because we're getting close.
Yeah, we are.
Very, very close.
So it's 28 days until
beginning of the end, my friends. The end is coming.
It is.
Yeah. So I have to see which weekend we're gonna do it, either this one or the next one. I just wanted to say big shout out to Mama Cheryl. Also, I got her package to me, and I'm gonna just share it with you guys. If you're watching live, this will make more sense. She sent me this really awesome package, which I was blown away with. I got a really nice card that she wrote me, which is really cool. I got this wonderful card. Should I read the card? Trent, you want me to read the card?
Yeah, read the card.
All right. It says, Chris, a gift for you because you're so fucking cool. Not ha ha ha. I like what you did there. Actually, I was just out looking for a random item, and this thing literally fell at my feet. I thought of you. So, bam. Seriously, though, you're kind of cool, Mama Cheryl. So I want to thank you so much for that. And my son helped me open it. He also helped me read the card, and he's like, "Daddy, what's that word right there?" I'm like, "Don't worry about that word, Brian." I got this really awesome do-rag. And of course it is. I'm going to hold it up here for the live audience.
Is it really a do-rag?
It's a do-rag. I think it's a do-rag. Is that what you call it? Like a do-rag you wrap on your head? It's a cloth that has Superman on it, in case for the people that are not watching
it's
live.
like a bandana.
Yeah, bandana, do-rag. They don't call that anymore? Okay.
I don't know. I'm in the South.
Showing my age. Okay, so the next thing I got, so that was awesome. And I'm going to hang this on my wall. Although my son keeps trying to get it from me. He keeps saying, "Oh, I want to take it." Was this really awesome Superman picture. A wooden picture, which is really awesome, which is one of the covers to one of the comic books.
Nice.
And on the back, and this is what's awesome about your mom and awesome about our audience, she took the care to write in here in a glittery, like, "Love Mama Cheryl" in glitter with glue or something like that. I don't know how she did it, but that's awesome. So the detail
funny.
was cool. So I want to say thank you for that. And because of St. Patrick's Day, I got she put a sticker on this, and it's a set of beads, green beads with a mug. And she says, "I still play the game." And it says Gendry on it. So it's a little Gendry mug that I can wear and drink with. So it was a St. Patrick's Day mug necklace.
I
thought
love
that
that
was
there's
awesome.
somebody who still plays the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that we have people in our audience that really think about us that way. And I want to thank you so much for sending this, Mama Show. You're the best. And I want to thank our audience for sticking it out with us here and joining us for every single episode that we do, whether it's live or whether you download it later on. The download numbers have been up substantially again. As we're getting closer and closer to season 8, the numbers of the podcast they skyrocket. Because believe it or not, most people don't give a flying shit about the books. They just watch the show, which is fine. We all enjoy it the way we like. It is what it is.
It's an excellent show.
Yeah, I think it's the best show on television.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Definitely an amazing show.
Groundbreaking, record
Greatest
breaking
show ever.
Yeah.
I just don't see any other show ever that I've ever even known of or watched that had this level of detail in every single episode.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible. So you guys out there in the BTIT community, we love you guys, and I hope that some of you are going to be at Ice and Fire Con. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you can still buy them. Get your tickets. Use the code Thronies. Thronies will get you $5 discount. If you're there, we're going to be there. Well, Trin and John are there for every single day. I'm going to be there Saturday and Sunday. And we plan on doing some podcasting while we're there also. And you could be on that podcast if you show up. If we're doing the VIP meet and greet, you could pop in and we'll put a mic on you. I'll point the microphone
hang
at
out
you.
with you and drink with you and run with you. And
Now, I'll run and exercise in the gym with you, but I'm not going to drink with you. I mean, I'll drink. You can drink. I will sit there and drink.
I'm going to do both.
I'm not a big drinker.
You can have a shot with me, guys.
Yeah, well, I plan on getting
You can have a
John
shot of
shit-faced
some proper 12.
trashed.
You can have a shot of some proper 12 whiskey.
I'm going to throw a dress on him and a wig, a Lannister wig, and take pictures of him.
No, you will not.
Kyle Martin says, best GOT podcast. Thank you, Kyle. That's
Thank you so
awesome.
much.
Wow.
Much appreciated.
It means a
We
lot.
try very hard.
Yeah, Ollie says, I was really dismayed that I missed your live chat last week, but it's okay. I cried myself to sleep in the fetal position for a couple
That's
of
funny.
nights, and I'm right as rain.
It's amazing what a good
And
cry
then-
will do for you.
Kyle says, I'm so glad the third episode was changed to 82 minutes. Oh, did we get like accurate times on those? now?
Apparently, someone released like the first episode's only 55, and then
That doesn't make
the-
any sense.
the third episode is
Yeah.
100. And it's always been 82. I think that the third episode was always an hour and 20 minutes, and then the further episodes I think are a little bit longer. I
So
don't
the
think there's.
reason that wouldn't make any sense is because I remember Miguel Sapochnik is directing that one for sure, the third
Yeah.
episode. That
Yeah.
we know, and he is also the director for Battle of the Bastards, Hard Home, all of the big battle sequences. He's the
Yeah.
director for, and I feel like I read in an article recently that Lord of the Rings had the longest standing
Battle.
the longest battle time length, like lengthwise
Right.
for
Yeah,
time
yeah.
ever filmed. And this episode 3 that we're gonna get breaks that record as far as like
Wow.
Yeah.
after
Total
editing.
length of the actual battle.
Yeah, after editing what goes on screen, the length of the battle is longer, only by like a couple of minutes, but
battle
it's
would that
still
be?
like, what do you mean?
In Lord of the Rings, which battle would that
I
be?
think I'm
Helms?
thinking,
Helms
if
Deep?
I'm not mistaken,
Yes,
it's
Helm's
Helm's
Deep.
Deep. Helm's
Yes,
Deep was a
Helm's Deep.
really long battle
'Cause
sequence.
I posted something on our Behind the Throne that an entire episode is supposed to be a battle. One whole episode
Yeah.
is one big
Then
battle,
that
and I
would
think
make
that's the
sense
one
that
that's
it's
breaking
episode
it. Yeah.
3.
Uh-huh. Yes.
So maybe then episode 2 ends with them, like, I guess episode 2 could end with them all like we see when we see the trail in the trailer where they're all just Grey Worm standing, yeah, Brienne, everyone's standing, getting ready, and then
That's
the foot
gotta be the
comes
end of
down.
the second.
That could be the
yeah.
end of episode 2, and then the entire third episode is the entire battle. So.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yes. So it says the battle at Helm's Deep was a 40-minute war scene. So
From
I-
start to finish. Wait. No,
Wow.
Trent, are they counting this as the theatrical version or the extended cut version?
I'm looking. Sorry.
Because if I remember correctly, in the Lord of the Rings extended cut, it was really long.
Yeah, because Helm's Deep goes from like, you know, nothing in between. It goes from the battle, and then it goes to the trees. Then it goes to the trees attacking, and then it goes to Frodo walking. That's the. I was also thinking.
It's a long battle sequence. It's really long.
It says that it was cut from 20 hours of footage, which in total took 120 days to film. That's Helm's Deep. And then we had similar stats to
What about the third
Game
battle?
of Thrones one.
What about the third movie, Julie, in Lord of the Rings, when they attack Gondor?
But that one wasn't as long because remember, I think what Trent's talking about is a continuous battle.
Continuous.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you're talking about the battle that happens at Minas Tirith, they break it up because there's a part where it breaks up and it's, you know, what's his name? Mary goes to get Gandalf because the guy's gonna burn the guy alive. So they break up a lot of that part. So if we're talking about straight continuous battle footage, the Helm's Deep would be the longest one. Yeah.
Interesting. God, I can't believe this is going to happen.
I can't believe it's going to end. This is like,
I know, it's
sad.
In the same month where two great things are ending, and it's funny because Avengers came out in 2008, so it's almost 11 years, and Game of Thrones came out in 2011, and it's almost 10. It's about 9 years. So it's really two things that have really defined the 2010s is ending. Like if you think about the 2010s, it's the
teens.
The teens, yeah. It's the Game of Thrones being the greatest show ever, and it's one of the greatest film universes, the Marvel ending.
Right.
It's crazy.
Is it ending though? Like the franchise has so much potential still.
They'll reboot it, but essentially the whole storyline will end with Endgame.
It's crazy.
Okay.
All right, so we're done. And I want to thank everyone again for being here. Thank you so much, John, for being on the podcast. Any shout outs you want to do real quick where people can find you, Stalker?
Just check out my Facebook and Instagram. Check out Behind the Thrones page as well. Check out Nerd Theater where we do some nerd reviews. And yes, and Ice and Fire Con, I'll be there. So that's all I gotta say. And thank you guys for listening and watching.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show, Julie. Any shout outs you'd like to say on your way out?
No, thank everybody for listening, and thanks, guys, for having me come back. I love talking about it, and we can't wait to record the next episode. So come on back, everybody.
Awesome. Trin, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Look forward to seeing you again on the next episode.
Yes, I will be here. I love it. I love talking about Game of Thrones. They can find me on social medias at Dovahkiin Trin mostly. And then I don't really like, I like Facebook, but I don't. So I'm not on there a ton anymore, but sometimes. And we're working on our Well, I've got some projects in the works. I'm not gonna say yet because it's still in the works, and I hate spoiling it, but it should be fun.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the end of the show. We'll see you guys
Where
next
can they
time.
find you, Chris?
Oh, me. It's not too many people really want to find me, but if you do, I'm on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and it's Chris J. Gray and the number 7. You type it in, you'll find me. All the links are pretty much in the show notes, so you can find me that way. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast, and we'll see you next time for another great adventure with your friends from behind the Iron Throne. #BTIT. Woohoo! Be part of the cool kids. Yeah, yeah.
Game of Thrones is cool.
Bye, everybody.
All right,
See
we're
everyone.
out. So we're still live, but we're out on the podcast end.
They need
So,
to bring
if
Beavis
we-
onto Game of Thrones because he does that little fire thing where he's like fire, ha ha ha, fire.
Fire.
If we can nail the rest of this
Those
list
words
next
should never come
episode,
out.
huh? Why?
What nailed? What?
Nail.
Nail her in back of the
We should
trailer.
nail- If we nail the rest of this list, what would be like? Because I think we have 2 episodes if we're going every other week.
Well, yeah. Well, we're gonna have to. We gotta have that one before the series starts.
Because we have the 31st. If we're not doing one next week, we have the 31st, and then
I
this.
thought we said we were doing it next week.
Are we doing every week or every other
It was
week?
supposed to be every other week, and this was going to just line us perfectly up with
'Cause
bam.
then 31st will be the last episode then before the
No,
season.
we'd have the 4. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
which
We
is
could do an
perfect, 'cause I won't-
episode Saturday night if we want to, before it
Yeah, that's
before it
true.
goes.
hmm
Just make sure we don't plan a nerd theater before, and then we're fine.
Well, the next Nerd Theater would be the 30th and then the 13th.
It's too much math for me. I'm falling asleep.
Right.
All right, guys, we'll figure it out. I'll talk to you about it this week.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll probably do an episode next week. I need a break.
Okay.
Too much podcasting. Too little time.
Too much podcasting.
Yeah, this coming from the guy that used to do 5 shows a week.
Yeah, and
missed-
and
I
did
missed that
unboxing
guy.
videos.
Yeah, I haven't
Miss that
unboxed.
guy.
I haven't done a video in forever. I've been busy on my other project. All right. I'll see you guys. Good work. And everyone live, thank you so much for being here. You guys
Thanks,
rock.
YouTube family. Love you.
Love you.
We'll see you on the next episode.
If your name is Stark, John really loves you. John will do
Really,
anything
really
for
loves
you.
Oh my god.
And I mean anything. I will
Appreciate
do
you.
anything for love. And
I
he
told
will.
you so.
And he will do that. Oh, yes. Yes, he will do that.
Going off the rails, everybody.
I'm going to have to make a whole song just for you, John, and what you will do for the Stark lovers. All right. Peace.